Good morning, Raptor Freaks. It's a Raptor Freak stream in the morning, 9:30 a.m. That's right, I just woke up. And it's Friday, so I'm doing a Friday freakout. And I've got a couple subjects to freak out on. Something I'm really going to freak out on in a second. But we'll start with one that I'm not freaking out about that much. But I'm kind of like, yeah, this is the same thing we've seen before. This is the same thing. And that's the all-defensive teams. The all-defensive teams for the NBA season came out yesterday, first and second team. And Scottie didn't get any votes, a single vote for all-defensive team. And I'm pissed about this, honestly, because in some ways, Scottie is among the best players in the league for stocks, steals, and blocks. And those are basically the two defensive, stats, right? Steals and blocks. And well, Dyson Daniels, he gets a lot of steals. Rudy Gobert gets lots of blocks. But how do you gauge all defensive? In some ways, I feel like it's a popularity contest with the NBA and their own agendas, because it's like there's no metric for it. If you were really going by the metrics, the leader in steals and blocks should be on those teams every year. And people that are perennially in the top list of stocks should be in there too. And that's Scottie Barnes. Scottie Barnes gets an amazing amount of steals and blocks as a player. You can go look at his stats against the rest of the league, and, he's in there with Giannis for steals and blocks. Overlooked. In fact, I'll go to our Discord server where I posted the voting for it, and we can see who voted, got in, and who didn't as far as things for this all-defensive team. OG didn't even make the all-defensive team this year. OG Anunoby is on New York Knicks. He's playing tonight in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks are in the spotlight. OG's been looked over for so many years, and even OG didn't make the defensive teams this year. I don't get that, man. This guy has a body of work that should be getting rewarded at this point. I know y'all ignored him in Toronto and didn't give him any kind of offensive shine. You did once when he led the league in steals. You put him on the all-defensive second team when he was a Raptor once. And he was on the team last year, I believe, too, for the Knicks, his first year in New York. But he wasn't on it this year. OG's just missing. He's the last player to miss the cut to make the second team in the voting. But I see some of the names that got votes for all-defensive team, and I'm like, man, these guys aren't better defenders than Scottie. What is this crap? Seriously, what is this crap? These guys, who is this? Why is this here? I still stand on this, that Evan Mobley was a fraud to be Defensive Player of the Year this year. He's a fraud to be on Defensive Player this year, because I see his partner got votes on here. There's 4 second-place votes for Jared Allen on here. I'm telling you right now, Evan Mobley ain't as good on defense without Jared Allen on the team next to him. He's played his whole entire career next to Jared Allen so far, and he makes him look so much better than he is. It's bullshit. I hate the narrative. I mean, I understand Cleveland had a really good record this year, and they had to reward them. And in some ways, giving some defensive shine to Evan Mobley is an easy way to do it. But still, man, I feel like he's so overrated as Defensive Player of the Year this year. The younger players have taken a lot longer to get to that spot. Why is he getting there so early in his career? I'm just saying, it's not right. I would have respected them giving the Defensive Player of the Year to Draymond Green more than this. Seriously. I don't know. These defensive player teams, these teams on here for a Defensive Player of the Year are kind of goofy, man. I'm not going to lie. They're kind of goofy. So who won was this. We got Evan Mobley, as I said. He was the leading vote getter for all defensive team. Honestly, I just said what I mean on that. Dyson Daniels, I totally get it. The great barrier thief was a phenomenon. Atlanta sucks, and they still put him on the first team. I mean, he was one of the finalists for Defensive Player of the Year. In some ways, he should probably been the Defensive Player of the Year, honestly. Lou gets Dort, finally. This is the crazy thing. Y'all would think that Lou Getz has been on defensive teams before, but this is the first time he's ever been on a defensive team. This is ridiculous. I don't understand how y'all waited this long to get Lou Getz on here. Like, y'all are idiots, man. Whoever picks the all-defensive team, I don't understand your criteria, y'all. Why are you looking at this a certain way? Because in some ways, you guys are overlooking people all the time. Draymond Green is a legacy defensive player of the year. Honestly, it's a legacy defensive team, all defensive team, first team. It's legacy. Aman Thompson getting some shine for his reckless, crazy ass defensive ability. I mean, I don't totally agree with that one. I really don't. I really, really don't. I think that young man has been in the league for 2 years. And in some ways, where's the body of work that he gets to be on the defensive team? Because it seems like you need to build a body of work to get on the defensive team. And I'm sick of this shit. You're letting these young people like Evan Mobley and Aman Thompson jump the line when they really don't deserve to be on these teams yet. You got to be seasoned and have a reputation for a while. And I'm sorry, Thompson and Mobley shouldn't be on here. I'm telling you right now. If Lou Getz had to wait this long to be on the defensive team, these young guys are getting on here so quick like this. They should have waited longer. I'm just saying that. On the second team, this team makes more sense in some ways. Rudy Gobert, of course. If he's going to be on anything defensive, it makes sense. Ivica Zubac, yes, he should be on the defensive team. That makes sense. Jaren Jackson Jr., even though he won the Defensive Player of the Year a couple years ago, I didn't agree with that. I get it. Y'all love him. You want to keep throwing defensive awards at him. Jalen Williams, I don't totally get. I really, really don't. I don't get why y'all put him on this team. I would think that somebody like Chet on that team may be more deserving of defensive player stuff, but maybe not. Maybe Chet is a big hole and easy to score on. I don't know. I just don't get these teams. Tamari, what did Tamari do in Portland? Like, what did Kamara do in Portland? Portland was a horrible team, and he may be a very good individual player for him, but why are y'all giving any kind of defensive awards to a bad team? That if that was your reasoning for not giving something to Scottie, why are you giving it to Kamara? Seriously. Why are you giving a defensive, all-team defensive to him on Portland Trailblazers? Absolute garbage team. And you can't give any shine to Scottie Barnes? Like, seriously, NBA, what's going on here? I don't get it, man. These teams are jacked. They're jacked up. And you know what? If I made an all-defensive team with the top 10 defensive players in this league, they would not have a lot of these players on it. OG would be on it. Scottie would be on it. And Dillon Brooks would be on it, too. I would put Dillon Brooks in the top 10 defenders in this league, too. He did get some votes. Dillon Brooks did from the voters. Their votes for OG, as I said, he was just missed. Bam Adebayo. I mean, yeah, he's got the length of work, and he is a very important player for Miami as a defensive player. I don't have any problem with him getting votes. Derek White, come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all are trying to say Derek White's one of the best defenders in this league. No, come on, man. Giannis, of course. Giannis could have been on the defensive teams, and I wouldn't argue that because it makes sense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got 12 votes for all defensive. This doesn't make sense to me totally. I know the guy can steal the ball. He's an MVP of the league, but I think that this is just like there's a lot of Thunder that got votes. Let's just put it that way. And maybe it's true because like last night when they played Minnesota, they had 8 turnovers and they forced like so many on Minnesota. And that's the way they win is they make the other team turn the ball over and they're very, very protective of the ball themselves. They don't even care about the 3-point line. They just go and protect the ball, make you turn it over, and shoot a high percentage, and boom, they beat you, Oklahoma City Thunder. But they've got like 4 or 5 guys that got defensive votes. I mean, I get it. They were the best team record-wise, and in some ways that is a big part of why people get votes. But I don't understand Gilgeous-Alexander getting defensive team votes. I don't totally get it. Jaden McDaniels got a couple votes. Jaden McDaniels, of course, getting all riled up last night because of SGA. And trying to guard him is hard. It's very, very hard to guard him. Dillon Brooks did get 7 votes, 2 first place votes. So he got 2 people thought he's first team All-NBA defense. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Dillon Brooks. Anthony Edwards got some votes for defensive team. Brooke Lopez, Miles Turner, Cason Wallace, a bench player off the Oklahoma City Thunder, got votes. Like that, what are we doing here? Who is voting for this and putting votes on Cason Wallace? Like, seriously, what is this crap? Jalen Duren of Detroit. Okay, big, strong guy. And then finally, Josh Hart. Josh Hart got some vote, too. 1 vote for second team. I don't know, man. Y'all going to overlook Scott. He's going to come and get this. I'm kind of sad because in some ways, this guy did 65 games to try and get a postseason award, and he's not going to get one. This is where he would have gotten one right here. Is he could have been all defensive team, maybe second team. And that kind of would have been a little bone to throw to our franchise guy, Scottie Barnes. But NBA voters for all a defensive team, what are you doing, man? This is a jacked up team, man. It's a jacked up team. I can understand old legacy players like Draymond. I can't argue about Draymond being on a defensive team. But some of these young guys that you just bypass, people like OG Anunoby, to be on these teams, that's a shame, man. That's a shame. I'm not even, OG's not even on the Raptors anymore. I'm mad because y'all didn't put him on second team all defensive at least. Anyway, I'm freaking out about the defensive teams, but not really that much. They're going to come for Scott. He's going to get them in the years to come. And I know they will. I know they will. In fact, he's going to get a defensive player of the year too. And it'll mature to this. It will. I'm just sick of this, man. Anyway, it's been disappointing this week with the teams that came out, all rookie teams and all defensive teams snubbing the Raptors. I mean, some would say, well, of course, y'all were a bad team. Well, why are there people like Kamara on here? Seriously, if you're going to say that, why is Kamara on this list? Tell me why. Because, the Raptors weren't that much worse, or I think we were better than Trailblazers, actually. So that logic don't work if you're going to put players from bad teams on your defensive team. That's what I'm going to say right now. Yeah, y'all snub Shed, and you snub Scottie this week. NBA voters for dumbass teams, they matter because they get money for this. And in some ways, I want Scottie to qualify for his incentives because he got awards in the postseason. This man played hurt most of the season to try and get 65 games. And no love from the NBA and their bullshit. That's what I'll say this morning about that, man. That's what I'll say about that this morning, man. It's kind of annoying, man. I know I'm annoyed about it. I have something much more that I want to freak out about. Really, really want to freak out about. Luguentz Dort hit Scott Foster in the face last night, y'all. He busted him in the nose. That's a defensive player of the year right there, man. Luguentz defending the league from Scott Foster's criminality. So good, so good. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. We'll get into it. We got all the normal stuff, the classic card, the Instagram stories, the good straight goods on Canadian goods, the Raptors Reddit reactions. Yeah, we got it all here. Trevor's saying power isn't what happens to you, it's how you decide to respond. Most people just react. Be better. Yeah. No, this is so true, man. You're a badass if you can be unflappable. People will try you. Yeah. And the thing is, they will try you over and over again because they know if you get a reaction. This is the thing with bullying. The people that bully people bully them because they get such great, lovely reactions from sad people that are getting, oh, no, you're hurting me. And it's like, that's what they want. If you don't react to them, you just kind of, I'm not going to give you any power. It's tough. I know it's tough, but that's how you can stand up against them is don't take the bait. If somebody says something rude to you, you could have a graceful response that totally diffuses their stupid thing that they said, and they look stupid. I'm just saying, you react to stuff like that. You can amp it up, and then you took the bait, and then your power's gone, like Trevor's saying. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Commissioner Fun, Trevor J. That's right. OKC put that beat down on Minnesota. Yeah, what I said is going to happen. I'm saying it right now. Some of y'all were realizing it last night on the Discord server, watching the Thunder come over the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second half. It was kind of running together for a little while, but Minnesota lagged behind them at a certain point, and Oklahoma City got in the driver's seat. And SGA, amazing how many games he's gotten in a row, 30 points in the playoffs once again. This guy is the closest thing to Jordan. This guy is the top player in the league. And as people are noticing now, the torch is being passed from one generation to another, and that the generation of LeBron James and Kevin Durant is ending. And the new generation of somebody like SGA leading it is starting right now. I mean, it's evidenced by who's in the playoffs still. None of those old generation guys are in it anymore. Steph Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and young stars are leading their teams up to the Larry O'Brien this year in the NBA playoffs. So it's a changing of the guard, and SGA symbolizes it. And I think it's awesome, man. I think it's awesome. Yeah, they beat them good. It was very deflating for Minnesota. Oklahoma City just doing a lot of good things, man. As they say, Jalen Williams and SGA are luxury because they can both go get baskets as they need to for that team as they need to. And then they've got defensive stalwarts like Lugetz. They got a player like Chet that's very specialized and does certain things that are very powerful and good. And Isaiah Hartenstein, hello. That's a good team, man. That's a good team. And they're probably going to be the champs. Yeah. Yeah, this sweep's coming. I predicted this before the series even started. I said if the Thunder blow out the Timberwolves by 20 in game 1, they're going to sweep them in 4. Well, 2 down, 2 to go in Minnesota, going to the next spot. That's right. James is here. Too many Joker fanboys hating on SGA. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting thing that happened this week. Michael Malone's doing the broadcast this week for the Western Conference Finals. And he's let out that he said something positive about SGA being the MVP, and Denver went crazy. The fan nation of Denver Nuggets went crazy and got pissed at their former coach and said, "Who are you? You're a turncoat. You're turning on Joker. You're saying that SGA deserved the MVP." And well, he had to clarify things in the press to say that no, my choice, and I would vote for Nikola. I wouldn't vote for SGA. He had to do that because in some ways he would get hate, like mad from the city of Denver for, kind of endorsing SGA as MVP earlier this week when he won it. So he had to clarify because the Nuggets fan nation's getting all riled up. I mean, listen, I feel like they're a little bit, they're not like the Leaf Nation right now. And we're going to talk about them in a second again. They are a little worried and sad and deflated because their championship was a couple years ago, and they can see that they're on the downturn from it. And losing the way they did in Game 7 to the Thunder, it's kind of scary to Nuggets Nation because they've kind of been riding a really nice Joker train in the last few years of kind of feeling secure and good about their team and the direction it's going. Right now, it's all up in the air. It's weird. Because they failed and they're not good enough to win a championship right now. It's obvious. They did take the interim coach tag off of David Edelman. So he is now the full-time coach for them. He will be the coach next year. And this has been the action that's been seen so far with these firings with Memphis and Denver, that the interim coaches have taken the jobs. And they've gotten them fully now. The Memphis coach is going to be the coach next year, the Finnish guy. And Edelman will coach Denver. There's not going to be any coaching switcheroo like everybody was saying. Like, even with San Antonio, the Spurs fans were hoping that San Antonio would go ahead and go and get somebody like Michael Malone. But they've already thrown their hat in with Mitch Johnson, and he will be the coach of the Spurs next year after Pop. So it's interesting. There's some big name coaches that are free agents this summer, but in some ways there's new names coming in and taking these jobs like Mitch Johnson and David Edelman that some of these coaches are not going to find jobs that just got fired recently. Taylor Jenkins, Michael Malone. We'll have to see. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. The thing, James, with SGA versus Joker, man, these Denver fans are loyally crazy, right? They're going to have to do this. But yeah, they're making a whole bunch of noise. But everybody knows the true MVP this year is SGA, and he's won it, and it is right for that to happen. That's right. And especially if he wins the championship, it'll look real good. It'll look way better than Joel Embiid MVP. That's for damn sure. Trevor J saying that the New York Liberty made history as the most valuable franchise in women's sports. $450 million. What, they sell it or something like that? I don't know. In some ways, this kind of stuff doesn't impress me. But yeah, WNBA season started pretty good. Caitlyn Clark got in another little skirmish last night for a second. I have a feeling the WNBA is kind of giving her producer's notes. Like, I don't know if y'all watched Survivor. There's a Survivor spoiler right here. They had the finale a couple nights ago. I'm pretty sure that they told that David guy that's a stuntman to frown at tribal council for the whole season just for effect. The producers come and say, David, come out there and act like you're angry and just like look really pissed off at the contestants that are still playing. Please. And he did. And then he was like, I'm so glad I don't have to do this anymore in the finals. Well, I could see the WNBA coming to Caitlyn Clark and saying, yo, be chippy, be a little aggressive because you're the face of the league in some ways right now. And we need you to bring more attention. And if you're just going to play and it's boring and milquetoast, no, you need to have some controversy around you. You need to go out there and stir the pot a little bit because it'll put more eyes on our product. I think that's what's happening with Caitlyn Clark. There's a little bit of like egging on by the whole entire league to be like, you know what? You should go out there and get more notoriety by just having, things happen around you so that, there's more attention on the media about Caitlyn Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the WNBA. So that's pretty interesting there. Yeah. James is saying Chris Paul out there supporting SGA yesterday. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people supporting SGA and getting the MVP. And I love to see it, man. Let's go to the Instagram stories. There's like a lot of people are great, really celebrating him. First, we'll do Leo Routen's words of wisdom. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. There you go. Be at peace with your life path. Be at peace with your past. And because it is what made a part of who you are is your experience. And in some ways, it is really important to try and be at peace with yourself. So Leo's saying to be at peace with yourself, you got to be at peace with your past. That's a pretty good word of wisdom right there, Leo Routen. I like that. Savannah Hamilton got an airplane yesterday. And she's got a funny picture. She's like about to take off for a 10-hour flight. And it says, bad news. There's a crying baby in the row beside me. Good news. I got moved to an exit row. Bad news. I'm in the middle of my row between two big dudes. Good news. I purposely sleep deprived myself last night so that I can pass out the entire trip, which I will. There you go. Savannah, I think she's going to Egypt, y'all. She's on a plane to Egypt yesterday. And yeah, we got some stuff. She's got a lot of leg room. She's 5'11", but she got lots of leg room on the plane, which is good. And she's celebrating SGA's MVP. There's a picture of Steve Nash saying they say lightning doesn't strike twice. Don't you hear the thunder, though? There you go. The thunder. Is lightning did strike twice for a Canadian MVP named Steve Nash. He won it twice. And hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Gilgeous-Alexander is a 2-time MVP in the next couple of years, too. Maybe even a 3-time MVP. We'll have to see. Love to see. Success begets success is what happens. There's Savannah at poolside now, enjoying. She is in Cairo, Egypt. That is where she is. She made it, and she's at the pool. And guess what happened to her, yo? This is what the adventures of Savannah Hamilton, sideline reporter. She saw a man wearing a Leafs hat. She's at the pool, and she's like, it has been 6 hours in Egypt, and I've already spotted a Leafs fan. And she's like, what the hell? This guy's walking around wearing a Leafs hat in Cairo, Egypt. So she came up to him, and she had to stop him and talk to him. And she's saying, I can't escape the Toronto. And his name is Fred. The Leafs guy, his name is Fred. He kind of looks like Sean Bradley. He's just like the tall, white, skinny dude wearing a Leafs hat, walking around in Egypt. I mean, why would you wear that this week, bro? Like, seriously, this week is not a good week for wearing Leafs gear after Sunday. Seriously, why would you wear that now? All right, I'll do this since there's a lead in. We'll do this in a sec. We'll do this after the Instagram stories. I want to talk about the Leafs in a second, man. I got a freak out to do. Yeah, she's been doing some touristy stuff. Savannah's at the Great Egyptian Museum. Just an hour ago, actually. She's doing the touristy stuff this morning right now. Lloyd is celebrating that game last night. Oklahoma City winning 2 more, baby. And you get the finals, and Lloyd's going to try and get a ticket. Jamal Shed is putting on blast a pop-up Saturday, May the 24th, tomorrow from 11 to 4 p.m. in Houston, Texas, y'all, at 5000 Westheimer Road at Morton's the Steakhouse. They're having a pop-up with shopping and eating and drinking, complimentary drinks and food from 11 to 4 today. So go check that out if you're in the Houston area. Pull up ski, yo. Jamal Shed wants you to come by. That's right. Let's see. He's celebrating Houston stuff always. Always celebrating Houston. Slim Duck has got this guy. Chris Boucher's stories are always an adventure. He's got this politician. I guess he's in Africa. And he's making a speech on a microphone. And he's saying corruption is bad. but only if I am not involved. That's so stupid, man. That sounds like politicians today. Corruption is bad, but only if I'm not involved, Doug Ford, you piece of shit. Chris is very much celebrating his Montreal brother, Luguetz Dort, for his all-defensive team selection, first team. Like I said, man, when I looked at this and it said that Lou Dort's first defensive team selection is this year, I'm like, what the hell is the NBA doing? What are y'all doing? Why can't this? What is this? What is this world where Luguetz Dort is getting his first all-defensive team selection this year? What is going on here, man? What is going on here? Get yourself together, NBA voters, with your bullshit. Seriously. It's really annoying. Norman Powell celebrating Ivica Subak, all defensive second team. There you go. He's celebrating his big center's accomplishment. And he's got an interview here on the sideline. I love the bonds, but actually there's a message behind it. Okay, I don't know what that is exactly. Of course, Norman was quoted in an interview recently saying that he doesn't understand all the people talking about how it's hard to play in Toronto, because he said it was easy. It was like fun. It's like it was amazing. It's like I kept looking at. He said something like I would always talk to Fred while we were playing on the Raptors. And I was like, man, this is just amazing playing in Canada and Toronto. He doesn't understand people like Rudy Gay and Thad Young that talk stupid shit about playing in Canada. Seriously, Jonathan Mobo putting on blast different faces. He's wearing a Leafs jersey in one of the pictures, in this little quadrant picture of him, and he's got a cross in the middle. Keep moving, Mobo. And keep getting better, man. I believe in you, and I want you to go as far as you can. Brooke baby stunner. Eugene Omari is celebrating Luguetz on the all-defensive first team. That's right. They finally woke up. They finally did, Eugene. I can't believe it. They gave Luguetz of all-defensive selection. It's amazing. I know he's celebrating Luguetz. He's not celebrating any of those other jabronis. He's celebrating Luguetz because, you know what? I'm finding out on the down low, Eugene Omari is huge Thunder Nation. Like, sure, he loves the Raptors. He's hometown, but in some ways, he really loved playing for the Thunder, you know, and he has allegiances to Oklahoma City to a degree. I can tell. Eugene, he's very close with SGA and Lou. And I think that when he played for them, he really bonded with those guys. So he's very much a big cheerleader of Oklahoma City Thunder right now, Eugene Omari. That's right. He's celebrating Jalen Williams for getting his second team all-defensive selection. That's right. Kelly Olynyk celebrating Lou Dort. Yeah, Lou the Beast named his first defensive all first team. That's stupid, man. How did this not happen before? It's going to be the same thing when Jamal Murray finally makes the all-star team. I'll be like, how did this not happen before? Oh, wait, they're Canadian? Is that why? Oh, my gosh. I hope that's not why. There's Kelly's dog. Kelly's dog is so photogenic. It's like, are you using a filter on that dog, Kelly? Because that dog's eyes look so like sad and like it's like you know that old art that they used to do, sad dog art. Like, you ever walked in the house and you see on the wall there's like a dog picture painting on the wall and it's sad as hell. You're like, what is this? Why do you have a sad dog on your wall, man? That's bumming me out. I don't know. Kelly's got a sad dog. It looks sad. It's weird, man. Akil Augustine's posting more on Raptors official admin of the fan versus fan shootouts that I walked by when I was at the arena last time. And yeah, they're doing like different competitions. They're showing stuff from like a couple months ago. This is footage they filmed during the season, but it's coming out in the summer. And there's fan versus fan shootouts, like horse and stuff like that. They're doing in Jurassic Park. Let's see. Zach Edey is celebrating Jaren Jackson Jr. getting all defensive second team. So he's proud of his Grizzlies teammate. AJ Lawson went into the classroom and did a speech or lecture for the students somewhere. Where was he? He was at Kickback Foundation, and he had the opportunity to speak to a group of young innovators. So he's talking about business and stuff. So that's cool. AJ said he really enjoyed being around the kids and talking to them, and it actually kind of like reinvigorated him and excited him, is what he said, to be able to talk to the kids. Lindsey Dunn's putting on blast a new mural that has gone up in Hamilton, Ontario, of SGA with the MVP letters, him with his arms up in the middle like a V. That's a beautiful mural. I love to see that Hamilton is taking ownership of SGA and putting up a mural for him. Where's our mural in Toronto, guys? We better do this because it's a dispute about where he's from now. This has been a dispute for a while. Is it Hamilton or Toronto? And you know what? Mural artists, get out there and put one up in Toronto right now, please. So we can stake our claim. Come on now, Toronto. Toronto proper. Lindsey Dunn's posting Steve Nash saying Canada's first MVP, the legend Steve Nash, speaking to the media about SGA becoming the second Canadian to win the award. I love it, man. Yeah, I knowing Steve, he is so proud of him, you know, because look at Steve Nash. All right. Gretzky is a disgrace. Gretzky is a turncoat. He's a piece of crap. In some ways, Steve Nash has become more American than Canadian too, which sucks. But in some ways, Steve Nash still gives back to Canada in all kinds of ways. And the mentorship of RJ Barrett is a huge one. He's the godfather of RJ Barrett, for Pete's sake. And I don't know how many people know just how much Steve Nash talks to RJ Barrett. Like, seriously, he talks to him a lot. Let's just put it that way. They're very close. And Steve Nash, in some ways on the down low, has been mentoring a lot of our young Canadian stars over the years. And SGA is definitely one of them. SGA is definitely one of them. So Steve is extremely proud of Gilgeous-Alexander. Extremely proud. Toronto Temple has a bunch of basketballs, and they look nice. I like the hydrogen blue chartreuse or Bordeaux, or I forget, it's Bordeaux, right? Bordeaux basketballs. They look cool. There's your Instagram stories real quick. All right, so Jonathan was wearing a Leafs jersey, and Savannah seen a Leafs fan in Cairo, Egypt. This is what's up, y'all. The Leafs have fired Brendan Shanahan as of yesterday. They are not going to renew his contract any further. And in a dumb little save face move, they saying they released him so he could have an interview with the Islanders for a position. Bullshit. Is this Shanahan from the inside saying, you guys can't straight up fire me. You're going to ruin my career. So we're going to act like you're releasing me to go get interviewed by the Islanders for a new position. That's complete horse crap. First of all, I did not realize what a piece of shit Brandon Shanahan is until yesterday. I didn't realize this. It came out from Ryan Wolstadt on Twitter yesterday that Brandon Shanahan for the last 11 years has been demanding in the Scotiabank Arena that there be no Raptors pictures in the lower concourse where the locker rooms and the media and everybody is. Now, upstairs in the places where the fans walk around, I noticed in the last couple of years, less and less Raptors memorabilia around the Scotiabank Arena on the walls. I remember there was a picture of Chris Bosh on this wall, picture of Tracy McGrady on this wall, picture of Muggsy over here. But it seemed like the last few years when I come to the arena, less and less Raptors stuff would be on the wall and more hockey stuff would be everywhere. If you come up the escalators near the main gate that comes from Union Station, those escalators going up, it's all Leafs memorabilia on those damn walls going up those escalators. Nothing Raptors. I noticed it on the download. I didn't really think about it that much. I was like, okay, whatever. They're doing this bullshit. It just shows insecurity for the Leafs, honestly. And we found where it comes from. Brandon Shanahan. Apparently, this man, behind the scenes, this whole time while he's been in charge of the Leafs, has been demanding. And one of his demands is no Raptors stuff on the walls downstairs near the locker rooms in the media room. And Chuck Swirsky even put a thing, right? It would be nice if I came back to Toronto and I saw some of the memories of the things that I called when I was the announcer of the Raptors. But in the media room, every single picture is a Leafs picture. There's not a single Raptors picture in the downstairs near the locker rooms or in the media room. What is this bullshit over importance? Kind of fucking racist bullshit, Brandon Shanahan from Etobicoke, piece of shit. You're fired, motherfucker. You were actually like, this is true. Like, I'm not crazy. Stargate's not crazy. We are right. You think we're conspiracy theorists that there's some bullshit holding the Raptors down within the MLSE. Well, we found out the GM president of the fucking Leafs is the guy. No, you can't have Raptors pictures up in this hallway. This is all Leafs territory to put Leafs stuff. Bullshit, motherfucker. What have you won in Scotiabank Arena? Not a damn thing. We won the championship in 2019. You should have some respect for the team that's brought a championship to the city while that building has been in operation. You're going to tell us we can't put Raptors stuff up downstairs where our players walk through those halls just like your stupid-ass, loser-ass Leaf players do too. And you're going to say we can't put Raptors pictures up on the wall, Brandon Shanahan. Get the fuck out. You're out, motherfucker. You're fired, bitch. and you are gone from MLSC, you sorry piece of shit, racist motherfucker, hockey ass piece of shit. I don't give a shit how many Stanley Cups you won with the Detroit Red Wings. You're a loser, motherfucker. You're a loser for running the Leafs like a piece of shit for 11 years. And every single Leaf fan that hates Brandon Shanahan, I stand with you today as a Raptors fan. And here in the aftermath of him leaving and Ryan Wolstadt letting the cat out of the bag on Toronto Sun saying, well, can we get the Raptors pictures put back up now that Brandon Shanahan is gone? Can you believe that? You know, when these things get dropped in my lap like this yesterday, thank you. Thank you to Smooth Brown Man for posting that in the Discord to bring it to my attention. Just like that gift of Ed Rogers III talking about Messiah's not worth that amount of money, and I called him to tell him that. These are always the stories that come to me, and I'm like, well, damn, Lex. You know what? You're putting 1 + 1 = 2, and you're figuring it out. You're adding it up. And, well, Maple Leaf Square, Jurassic Park, 12 Leaf statues. Now, I could extrapolate and think about this. What if this was what we wanted to do last year? What if Masai came to Larry Tannenbaum, Ed Rogers, and the MLSE board and said, guys, we really want to honor Vince this year. We'd like to put a statue of him out in Jurassic Park. Would you guys let that? If Brandon Shanahan comes in there and says, no, fuck that. We only have Leaf statues out in Maple Leaf Square. No Raptor statues around the arena. What is this bullshit? This is a hockey arena. Ugh. Could that have happened last year? I don't know. That could be very fucking plausible. That we may have actually asked MLSE to put a beautiful Vince Carter statue to honor him this year in the middle of Jurassic Park. And Brandon Shanahan had a stink and went, oh, no, you can't have any Raptor statues outside our hockey arena. It's a hockey arena. Bullshit, motherfucker. That's a basketball arena. It was built for basketball originally. And y'all came and got involved with us after we had bought that piece of land and started that project already ourselves. That was the Raptors arena before the Leafs were ever supposed to come there. Y'all sorry asses would be in Maple Leaf Squares, Maple Leaf Gardens still, you know, if it wasn't for certain things. In some ways, the Leafs strong-armed themselves into being a part of our building. In some ways, they leveraged themselves to be buying our team and being a part of our building against our own fucking will and forcing out great first owner, John Batove Jr. That's the damn truth of it. The fucking Maple Leafs try to act like they own Scotiabank Arena. Motherfucker, you do not. That project and that place was built for us. That was originally supposed to be the Raptors arena, and we had to get you involved because y'all fucked us over with Steve Stavro and your fucking bullshit. That's just the damn truth right there. So Brandon Shanahan, hasta la vista, you sorry-ass bitch loser who didn't do jack shit for the Leafs for 11 years. And I hope that Leaf fans are with me on this. The Shana plan, more like shitta plan. That's what I hear right here. It's a shitta plan. A shitta plan that didn't get nothing. And Brad Marchand is your fucking daddy, Brandon Shanahan. That's right. You're his bitch. That's right. I can't believe this. No wonder. Okay, yeah. We know this is a very proper noun person that was anti-basketball inside the arena and trying to pull strings and just trying to be an asshole about things. Why can't our players walk through the halls and see the history of our team with Vince Carter and Chris Bosh and Damon Stoudemire on the walls? What's the fuck is that, Leaf Nation? What the fuck is that, Brandon Shanahan? You sorry piece of shit. Anyway, what Stargate and I believe, and we're not crazy. We're not kind of people just playing the race card all the time. This is fucking real. This is real. And it may not have to do with racism. I don't think it does. It has to do with fucking hockey pride and hockey bullshit. And fucking Brandon Shanahan probably hates the Raptors because he knows that they've had way more success in his time that he was with the Leafs than he did with the Leafs. Yeah. Yeah, and they were showing Masai's running circles around him. Meanwhile, he's fucking languishing and never ever getting nowhere. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can't see the Raptors. They're going to remind me of what success looks like, and I'm just a failure over and over again. I can't believe this, man. You know, when this kind of stuff comes out, in some ways I'm like, yeah, I can totally see this, and it makes sense. But it also is really disheartening, and it's sad. That, you know, this guy, you know what this says about you, Brandon Shanahan? That you're a weak person, that you're a scared person, and that you need to do shit like push other people down and make yourself look good. There's a lot of people operating in this world like this. They try and make themselves look good by just pushing people down. Somebody mentions Biden and blames him for everything. Somebody mentions Trudeau and blames him for everything. That's never ownership for yourself. In fact, you just insert Biden's name when you should be apologizing for what you fucking did. But anyway, that's crazy. When I found that out yesterday, I was like, yeah, this checks. And yeah, I'm not surprised. And yeah, fuck you, Brandon Shanahan. Yeah, I hope you get the job with the Islanders as their new sous chef or something, or maybe you're a towel boy or something. I don't know what job you're going for there. Seriously, somebody keeps calling me. I don't care. I'm ignorant. Y'all want to call me? You should call me yesterday. But yeah, I just feel like that's something that's worth freaking out on. Can y'all believe that he wouldn't allow any Raptors pictures in the lower parts of the Scotiabank Arena while he was around? And I hope they put the Raptors stuff immediately up today. Seriously. MLSC, make this right. You know, we have a strong culture now. We built a culture this year. Seriously, I wouldn't even say we had a culture last year in some ways. We did, but it wasn't really like it is now. It's a strong culture now. And in some ways, we deserve to have this. I mean, was Brendan Shanahan mad that we put Vince Carter's jersey number up in the Raptors? Oh, no, none of this Raptors stuff in here, man. We can only have Leaf banners up here. Leaf banners, only Leaf banners. Fuck you, Brandon. Fuck you. Oh, man, I can't believe this. All right, let me keep going. Oh, you stupid ass Leaf fucker president. Oh, I hate him, man, so much. I know I'm cussing a lot, calm and crazy. I'm sorry. But this one did fire me up yesterday. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, really? Well, thank God they fired him. Seriously, what a piece of crap. I knew that there was going to be some fallout with the Leafs, and well, firing their president, yeah, that's pretty good. 11 years that guy had to run that team, and boy, did he get the same result over and over again: lose to a Florida team. That's pretty much what your result was your whole entire career with the Leafs. Now, Masai was lose to LeBron team for like the longest time, but he broke through. But y'all, you're not going to get a chance to break through. You're fired, bitch. That's what I'm going to say right there. Sorry, I know I'm a little feisty on that one, but I think it's justified. Seriously, justified. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan. Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. As always, this will only motivate Scottie, and we know it all. Defensive team, here we come. Yes, he will. No, I know he will because he set his sights on it, and he's going to get it. He's going to get it, man. He wants it. You will get it. I would tell Scott on Twitch, you can do whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want to do, man, you can go do it in this league, and you will. I believe in you. I don't doubt you, man. I learned that early. It may not come right away, but it's going to come for Scottie, and everybody will see it. People that are wondering or doubting Scottie in any kind of way, he will make you not doubt him anymore in the years to come. Trust me on this. And I know, just like the superfan Monique Lawrence knows, he's going to be an all-defensive player. He will be. Yes, he will. Mo's birthday party is on June the 7th at the NBA restaurant. I hope y'all will come and celebrate Monique Lawrence's birthday on June the 7th, 5:30 p.m. at the Queen's Key, y'all. Queen's Key in downtown Toronto, NBA restaurant. That's right. That's right. Let's keep going in the chat here. Let's see who we got next up in the chat. Trevor J saying SGA became the fourth player in NBA history to have averaged 32 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and win the Kia MVP in the same season. Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant are the other 3 players. That's a pretty good company. That's a pretty good company. Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan. Yeah, those are pretty huge NBA legends. And Kevin Durant, maybe he doesn't fit as much. Isaac's telling everybody, like, subscribe, and touch the grass, like Scottie would tell you to. Grass may be a little wet out there, just so y'all know. Just so y'all know. When you get out there and touch it, maybe a little wet. Trevor J saying New York Liberty beat the Chicago Sky last night. You know, the Sky have had a really disappointing year so far. I've been paying attention, and I'm really sad for Kia Nurse right now. You know, she's starting for the Chicago Sky right now. Our Canadian Kia. We love you, Kia. You're a broadcaster for us on TSN, and we love you. But, man, she's having a hard start to her season. I had her on my team. I drafted her, but I had to drop her because she's just not shooting right. She really isn't. She's only getting like 1-3 a game or something like that, and she's starting, so she should be having better production. There's a couple people off the bench behind her that are kind of performing a little bit better than her right now. So I don't know if she's going to stay in that starting spot. Of course, she's been playing with Angel Reese, and Angel Reese is a fantastic young talent who gets a lot of rebounds, but they're not winning. They are in a bad place. In fact, they've been getting blown out in a lot of their games so far. They've had 2 games so far, and I think both of them were blowouts. Not even close. Not even close. So there's some real problems with Coco's old team, Chicago Sky. Yeah, I'd be worried there. I would be worried there. Seriously, I would be worried there. James is saying, can we scout the Trey Johnson? High probability he falls to us. Lex, is there any way you can share the screen when you watch the highlights? We're working on this. In fact, I'm talking right now with Arturas of To the Point with King, his producer, and he's going to start helping me with this channel to an extent. He's helping me with some of this stuff. I would love to do this, James, and we're going to definitely have this capability ready for next year's scouts and work in progress over the summer. More and more stuff's going to happen technically with this channel that's going to get better and better. It's just right now, like I said, I'm super busy with family, and there's certain learning curve with technology I have to go through before it gets easy for me. So I'm starting to learn some of the ways. Like I connected Discord to YouTube yesterday, and I'm trying to figure it all out, but bear with me. It'll be coming. And we do have this plan to have this happen in the next year. So this kind of stuff will be happening where we can share the screen and you can watch me watch it, just like a reaction channel. So we're going to figure it out, James. But we'll go look at Trey Johnson since you've requested it. But we might start calling this James's Scout of the Day, because he really is the one who's interested in hearing me scout people. And I like that. I like that. I appreciate you, James, for wanting me to scout stuff. So we'll go look at Trey Johnson, who is, yeah, he's exactly right. Trey Johnson could be somebody who falls to us at 9. So we need to be somewhat familiar with him. Okay, so he's a Texas player like Kevin Durant. So he may be familiar with Jamal Shedd and Jacoby Walters slightly, being from the state. And those guys, you know, a lot of the Texas guys, even if they don't play on the same team, they are very aware of each other and know each other in certain ways. But he's a shooting guard. He's 6'6", 190 pounds, and he is from Dallas. So yeah, he's a 5-star recruit, 5-star ratings on all the rivals, 24/7 Sports and ESPN, all 5 stars. And yeah, so he's got some good blue chip credentials from his wiki. So we'll have to go and look at the eyes test on YouTube next. Let's go see what's going on with him on his highlights. And yeah, I've heard that he's been compared to Keldon Johnson, is what I've heard the comparison is. And I've heard that actually the Spurs fans, it's weird, man. Spurs fans are not as big on Dylan Harper as everybody is. And they're kind of saying we would reach for Trey Johnson at 2. Isn't that crazy? Some of the Spurs fans are pushing for that in their fan nation right now, that they would be okay with Trey Johnson at 2. All right, let's see. Right, we're watching him here. Okay, so he's a freshman. He's very young still. Like, how old is he? He's like only like 18 or 19. Okay, nice hops. Looks like he's got some explosiveness as far as getting a first step and running. There is a crazy shot over contention, and he made it. It was a nice follow through. That's how he made it. There's a bigger defender who came at him with a very big arm, and he still made the shot over him with a nice follow through. It seems like he's a good corner operator. Like he likes to operate from the corner, whether he's shooting the 3 or driving down the baseline. Yeah, that's a nice up and under. Pretty athletic move. I don't think his hops were very good on that one, though. Like, there's some players in this draft that have amazing verts. And I was expecting this guy to maybe jump a little more. We'll see. Maybe it's just that highlight. Yeah, I like the little dribble step back 3. That's a nice, solid move. He's one of the better 3-point shooters in the draft right now? Is that true? Because it looks like he probably is. He's got really good form. And, you know, the fact that he can do a little step in, step back 3, that's a nice skill to have. Yeah, he's bombing 3s in this highlight right here. This is him against Xavier. Yeah, I don't mind him. But once again, you guys are I'm going to sound like a broken record. We got Jacoby. We got Grady. We got Oshai. We got RJ. And in some ways, man, Trey Johnson may just make things a little bit more crowded and confusing for things. But once again, it's important for me to look at him for the reasons James said, because Masai and Bobby may be like, yeah, we like Trey Johnson. We're going to draft him if he's available at 9. And you know what? He's the latest Raptor. So I don't know. We got to see. Is it going to be best available or is it going to be positional need? We'll have to find out when the draft happens in June whether Masai and Bobby have decided it is going to be best available or positional need at that 9 pick. And I would say that it's likely they're going to do one or the other for either of the picks. So if they do positional need for 9, they may do best available for 39 and vice versa. They may do best available for 9, and then they'll do 39 positional need, and that would be the big. So it's either going to be the big or best available. We'll have to see. I think that it could actually be in one point best available is actually positional need also, and that's common mall to watch. Thank you, James, for your scout of the day. I appreciate you, man. I hope you're doing great in your fantasy WNBA so far this week. And everybody, if that is in the league, take a look at your team and set your lineups, please. Logical Raptors fanatic. Man, Seymour saying, James, no need. He will be off the board when we pick. Well, as he said, there's the possibility he drops. And this can be a similar situation to Grady. You know, Grady dropped to 13, and everybody thought he was going to be at 8. So there's a possibility that Trey could drop for whatever reason. Maybe some of the earlier pickers go big and they start picking guys like Common and Derek Queen and those guys earlier. And all of a sudden, maybe somebody like, I don't know, not VJ Edgecombe, but Trey Johnson or Kasparis are available around 9. And people are going to be like, oh, maybe Masai's going to take them. I don't know. We'll have to see. Kaz is here. Good morning, everybody. Kaz is playing James in the fantasy WNBA right now. And I see that Cass has a slight lead over James. So a very, very competitive week with those guys on their fantasy WNBA teams. Man, I'm still beating MK, and I love it. I love it, man. This is a big accomplishment. MK is a juggernaut, a WNBA fantasy. If I can hold off and beat him for the next 3 days in the first week of the WNBA fantasy season, I'm going to be very proud. Seriously. But I know this, that if I beat Meredith in the first week of fantasy, I'm going to face him the last week of fantasy too, and probably in the playoffs. And that's when it's really going to count, is in the playoffs. So I beat him now. He may come back and try and beat me later, and he probably will. Honestly, he's that good. He probably will. Nako's back. Good to see Gerald back in the chat. Love you, Nako the Nacho. Good to see you, my guy. Mobley's defense is good, but he's overrated. Thought some of Minnesota's experience would pull through. Oh, well. Yeah, Mike Conley's out there fighting for his life, man. It's not easy, man. SGA, and I love everybody coming to his defense and saying he's not a free throw merchant. This man is the guy in the league that drives the most out of everybody in the league, and that's why he's going the free throw line so much. There's nothing fishy about it. There's not any kind of special preferential treatment. He's just that kind of guy in this league right now. And, you know, people can be haters and use that as an excuse to be like complaining about it. You know what? If that's the only thing you can say about him to detract him, well, he's pretty damn good. That you're saying, oh, he's a free throw merchant. I don't like SGA. He's just a free throw merchant. What could you say anything substantial that's bad about him? Could you? I mean, he's just a free throw merchant. Well, you can't say anything else about him? Well, he's pretty damn good then. If that's your only critique of him, that's what I'm saying right there. Gerald, always good to see you, my good friend, man. My longtime friend, Gerald, you're awesome, man. Mark Tavares is back in the chat. Good to see Mark back in the Raptor Freak chat. When Raptors start winning, Barnes will start getting recognition. Yeah, that's true. And they know this too. And that's part of like the motivation. Obviously, Scottie's not thinking just for himself. He's thinking for the team and success. But they all know, and this is the way our other team was with the championship with Fred and all them. Team success will beget personal success for people. And he'll get it. He'll get it. We can get overlooked if we're having a losing season. We definitely up here in Toronto have to be a winning team to get any postseason awards. That's just the truth. We can't be like Portland and just get a postseason award for a Tamani Kamara. It was like, why is he on there? Seriously. And Scott isn't on there. I don't get that, man. That's a pretty good argument that I'm making on this. Portland's not a better team than us. Their record wasn't better than us. I'm not thinking that Kamara was that great compared to Scottie as far as like defense. If you really put their stats together, seriously. So, but Mark's right. With success for the team, we'll get individual spotlight and awards for them. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying, do it, Lex. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Mark's saying Barnes is a top 10 to 15 MVP candidate in the next year or two. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I like what Mark's saying there because, he's saying that Barnes is going to be one of the top 15 players in the league soon. And I agree with him. There was debate about whether Siakam was a top 15 player a couple of years ago because we were trying to say, yeah, he is. And in some ways, I would say he is. Seriously, on the down low, on the slide, NBA may not give him any recognition or give him any kind of credit. But Siakam, in some ways, is one of the top players in the league, like a top 20 player. I know it's Halliburton's taking a lot of the shine, and in some ways, Siakam's not marketable and stuff like that. But let's get real here. Seriously. They're playing tonight, game 2 at Madison Square Garden. The referees will be this. James Capers Jr. is the crew chief. James Capers has been reffing every other day, it seems like. He's been very busy this postseason. He favors the Indiana Pacers. He has a better record with the Pacers than the Knicks, so he favors the Pacers. Mark Davis is the referee, and he favors the Pacers. And the umpire is Kevin Scott, and he favors the Pacers. So all 3 refs favor Indiana in game 2 in New York. Statistically, they have better winning records with the Pacers than the Knicks, just so y'all know. The alternate tonight is Brian Forte, and Bill Kennedy is still in the replay center. He's going to be there 2 nights in a row, Bill Kennedy. So, yeah, there's your ref report for tonight's Eastern Conference Finals game 2. Yeah, all for the Indy. Yeah, Indy. So they're going to be in Madison Square Garden and stuff. There's an interesting clip that I saw yesterday that I have never seen before in my life, and this was OG freaking out. Have y'all seen the clip of OG yelling at Cat from game 1 of Eastern Conference Finals? All right, this is something that I found out over the last couple of days is, all right, Neesmith had an amazing fourth quarter. He hit like 6 threes or something like that. He broke the record for most threes in a fourth or something like that in a playoff game. And that was amazing, Aaron Neesmith. But why? How did he do that? Well, apparently, as some people pointed out in the Raptor Freak Discord, Cat was slacking on defense. Cat was losing Aaron Neesmith, and Aaron Neesmith was getting wide open and bombing these threes and getting Indiana back in the game and win the game. I've said this before. Cat will lose you games. Seriously, he will. As powerful and talented as he is, as much of a crazy bag he has as a three-point shooting guy that can do this and do that, he's still soft and loses and has some competitive problems where he doesn't do things right. And that was part of the reason why Minnesota would spin their wheels with him when he was on the Timberwolves. Well, this is the same thing in New York, and Knicks fans may not want to admit this. Cat is too good to be true. There's certain things about him that are not winning ways. And, well, when you see OG Anunoby, who's not somebody who expresses himself in any kind of way, angrily berating Karl Anthony Towns on the New York sideline, that something's wrong. And Jalen Brunson's coming over there and separating them and pulling them apart, telling OG to stop going at him, and then admonishing Cat for saying something back to him. I don't think Anunoby likes Anthony Towns. And I don't think that he respects him for the way he plays defense because he gave him the business. I've never seen OG in that kind of mode. Have y'all ever seen OG freak out like that on a player? Never on the Raptors. I never saw him yell at one of his teammates like he just yelled at Karl Anthony Towns in the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Never seen that in my life. In some ways, is OG getting older? Is OG just blossoming as a person? He feels more outgoing? I think it's just that he does not totally respect his center teammate for his effort on defense and the problems he caused and how they lost against Indiana. I think that's what it is. This is crazy, though. If y'all have not seen the clip, find the clip of OG berating Cat because it tells you a lot right there. I mean, I think the Knicks are in trouble. This is a big problem because if Anunoby does not get along with Towns, what the hell are you even doing? Like, you think about the last couple of years in Minnesota, there's always been kind of a chippiness between certain players. I mean, wasn't there a couple fights on the bench with Rudy Gobert and somebody else? There's been a lot of animosity between Timberwolves teammates over the years where you talk about Jimmy Butler's time there. There's been like weird friction on Timberwolves teams, and Anthony Towns might have been involved in some of that while he was still there. Gobert's been involved in some of that for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying Anthony Towns is an amazing player, but in some ways he is flawed. Very, very flawed. And as good as he seems he is, just like Porzingis, just like Embiid, he will get in his way from being successful. Yeah. I mean, the Celtics won the championship last year despite Kristaps Porzingis, despite him. And the Philadelphia 76ers ain't never going to win while Joel Embiid is on that team. I'm sorry. That's just the damn truth. And Cat, in some ways, on the down low, might be a blocker from the Knicks ever winning a championship while he's there. Seriously. I mean, listen, OG's a really easygoing guy. He doesn't go off on people like that. I've never ever seen him in that kind of mode. He has to really want to be in that mode, especially publicly in front of everybody. He's such a private person that put that kind of emotion on display, yelling at Cat on the bench. Wow. And Brunson had to separate them, guys. That's not good, man. That is not good at all right there. I'm telling you, man, that's not good. Smooth saying that getting stretched to 7 was good for OKC. They're playing around. They're not playing around. Yeah, that's why I kind of predicted the sweep of Minnesota is because they just went through the toughest series they're going to go through this playoff. I'll bet you. I said that after they beat Joker and the Nuggets. It's like they went through the fire. They went through the team that in some ways was the roadblock. You know, like if the bad boy Pistons were the roadblock from Michael Jordan and the Bulls, and then they finally got past them. That's what just happened with OKC. They got past the roadblock, and that was the Nuggets. And in some ways, everything after that is gravy because that series was nuts. That 7-game series with the Nuggets, with the Thunder, that was a crazy-ass series. And in some ways, they're not going to have that kind of resistance against them, even from the Eastern team that they face in the finals. I'm telling you right now, Thunder all the way at this point. Thunder all the way. And it's partly what Smooth's saying right here. They're not playing around. They're not. They can see the prize, and they can go get it. They can go get it. That's right. Wayne's here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Sergeant Wayne Strainer, the Sergeant at Arms of the Raptor Freak channel. Good to see you, sir. Blackhawks saying big up the Raptor Freaks. There you go. Neil's in the house. Good to see West Sider. Neil Blackhawk is in the house. I'd be very happy to see you coming to Monique's birthday in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited about Mo's birthday. We got some cool stuff for Mo. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it at all. I've already got Mo's birthday present. You know, I'll be bringing it down. That's right. Well, James is saying Caruso is a beast on defense. Their defensive rating is up when he's on the floor. I think that they just really did a good job of building that team with solid players that are not dead notes on the defensive piano. That everybody on that team contributes in a way, defensive energy-wise, that makes them really hard to play. You know, Dort is number 1 on that list. Seriously, Dort is crazy. And I love these on Team Canada. We get to enjoy his defensive tenacity on Team Canada, and he's just such a key person on the Team Canada team for what he does and what he brings. And he is kind of the leader of that defense, and SGA is the leader of the offense. And we kind of talked about this yesterday as being like they're a great 1-2 punch beside each other, whether it's on Thunder or Team Canada. That, you know, they kind of take care of 2 different parts of the 2 sides of the coin. And, you know, like I said, Hartenstein and Chet are interesting together because they kind of cover up each other's deficiency. Hartenstein is a big, strong guy who can take up space. And meanwhile, Chet is a long guy who can actually block shots. And if he has any problems taking up space, well, Isaiah will do it. And if Isaiah can't get up there and get stuff, well, Chet will. And that's a nice little thing to have. Then you have Jalen Williams, who's just an all-around great player in a lot of different ways. And he's young. And you got, you know, people like a Bulldog like Lil Cason Wallace off the bench and does what he does. Alex Caruso, another defensive kind of pit bull that's just really difficult to deal with. Yeah, it's a very well-built team. And a lot of it is from the crops that Sam Presti reaped in the draft over the years and years. And he did let go some. He kept some. And well, he's done a pretty good job with the glut of draft picks that OKC's collected over the years and really constructing a very well put together team. Really, really well put together, man. Seriously. Caruso, like I said, is the one with the treasure map. He's like the only one on that team that's ever won a championship. So he's the one who has to tell them what it's going to take. That's right. He's the one who has to tell them. Nako saying Raptors can be a 2 seed next year. I love it. I love it. Gerald, I'm going to give you a dunk. For that kind of optimism, you're going to get a dunk. That, you know, we've been saying 5th, 6th. Oh, they'll be in the play-in. I like it. Gerald's saying we're going to go ahead and go right up to 2. You know, that could be true. Seriously. I don't think he's crazy for saying that. Some people say, oh, you're crazy. Nah, man, we don't know what Brandon Ingram's going to add to us, man. We really, really don't. And these rookies are all going to get better. You think they're going to waste their time this summer not doing nothing? No, they're already working right now. And they're going to get better. You know, Shed's going to be better. Walter's going to be better. Dick's going to be better. Mobo's going to be better. We're going to be better next year all around. Scottie's going to be better. Scottie may come back, and if his hands heal and he's feeling good, he's going to shoot the three way better this season. And that is going to change a whole lot. That'll make his scoring jump up, and that'll make people take notice of him more, and that'll help him with his case for different awards because all of a sudden he's shooting better and he's hitting threes and getting more notoriety. So I could see that happening. Scottie heals his hand up. He'll shoot way better. He didn't shoot well this year, partly because of his hand. People got to realize that. Fiercey saying, good morning, fam, and happy Friday to you, MJ. Always good to see tap, tap, tap. That's right. Fiercey, and big ups to Fiercey Jr. and her next stage of season with her basketball career. That's right. Blackhawks saying SGA nullifies the Ant-Man argument for face of the league. Hey, he can't do this, bro. You dropped the F-bomb this week, and Adam Silver came at him and gave him a fine. Yeah, I should be taking more fucking shots. He said that in an interview, and they're like, okay, who thinks this guy's going to be face of the league? Seriously. He's out on the street posting TikToks where he's dropping homophobic epithets. No, man, this guy's no face of the league, man. He may be a movie star because he was in a movie with Adam Sandler. He may be funny. He may be in some ways very Jordan-esque with his personality and the way he plays on the court and his compete. But he's not the face of the league, man, because he's a loose cannon. He's on that scale with John Morant. And Adam Silver can't depend on him to be a wholesome face of the NBA. So, yeah, you're exactly right. SGA nullifies Ant-Man as the face of the league. He beats him. In some ways, is this what it is? A series between the Timberwolves and the Thunder that determines the face of the league. He beat Joker last round, so he got MVP. This round, he has to beat Anthony Edwards so he can be declared the new face of the NBA. I say that's the way you figure things out. You let them compete, and whoever wins gets the title. SGA going to be the face of the league. Adam Silver, when he defeats Anthony fucking Edwards. Woo! That's right. Blackhawks saying Ant-Man is exposed, and so are the rest of the Timberwolves. Yeah. I love that cousin matchup, though. They were going at each other last night, too. Nickel and Shea. Ooh, I love that so much. I love that stuff, man. I love it. I love it. Blackhawks saying playoffs exposes the pretenders. That's right, Cleveland. That's right, Cleveland. They expose the pretenders, and you really get tested for if you built this team right. Now, let's look at the Raptors in this context. You know, our philosophy of playing hard really matters because we only play one way. And when we play that way through the whole entire season, we're playing in that mode for the postseason also. That in some ways we practice the 94 feet, the full court defense, the very tenacious attacking defense is something that we're already known for in 2 years of Darko Rajakovic. You add the whole passing scheme. Okay, that's not as important, but it's more the tenacity and the get after it and the always working hard that the Raptors players have shown in the 2 years of being coached by Darko. There's no questioning that. I mean, Lil Routon said at the end of the season, the Raptors' record in the last 2 years may not be that great, but you cannot question that they did not play their asses off and play as hard as they can. This is going to really, really benefit them when they get to the big show and they have to play in the playoffs because in some ways they're already practicing, in some ways going all out and playing the right way for the playoffs because that is the way the philosophy is under Coach Darko. And I love that. I love that. So in some ways, we're preparing for the playoffs in the way we do things because we built it as the foundation of our defensive mantra and our essence. And I love that. I love that. That's why I think that we won't be a pretender if we get in there and we start playing people. Sure, there'll be the shookness of it's new, you're young, and wow, this is actually a different level that I didn't even realize. And you may fail the first time because it's like, holy crap, this is a whole other level of intensity. And it's totally different. The referees did a study, and they're trying to say, is this more physical? Is this more intense playoffs? Monty McCutcheon come out and say, no, statistically, this is the same. It's just that this is what's happening, y'all. You know, in the past few years, the players were settling for too many three-point shots and shying away from contact inside, so there was less free throws and less fouls being called. And that's part of what's happening right now, is there's less fouls being called because people are shooting threes so much. But this year, he's saying that the physicality and the way the refs are doing things isn't any different than anything. It's just that it's just seems like it is. Maybe the players, the parity of the league and the salary cap is bringing out this level of competition like it is now. It could be like that, man. Could be like that. Blackhawk's saying that he likes Mike Malone as a broadcaster. He pulls it off. He's a feisty guy, and he's very opinionated, and he's very outspoken. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good combination for that. Wayne saying, I don't think any coach can positively identify an opponent's player as being worthy of a title. Honesty is not regarded. One has to lie every time of the day. Okay, I don't think any coach can positively identify an opponent's player as being worthy of a title. Oh, are you talking about Michael Malone saying that about SGA or something like that? Okay. Yeah, I think it's just basically because, he may be a little salty about getting fired the way he did from Denver. And he may have just said that in kind of a jab, but, Denver Nation came at him. In some ways, he has a legacy in Denver. I mean, we're in acrimony to an extent with Nick Nurse right now. And, it could very well be the championship coach for the Denver Nuggets is not totally in good standing with Nuggets Nation right now. And that's part of it right there. But he's doing damage control, and he cares about his legacy with Denver. Obviously, if he's going to come back and say, no, I picked Nikola. Nikola's my MVP. I could see that. Smooth's asking, is Savannah Hamilton related to Sherman? Now, this is something that was been asked many times. They are not related. No, they're not. Hamilton is a very common last name. But yeah, Sherman Hamilton and Savannah Hamilton are not related. Savannah Hamilton has a big family. She's got a lot of sisters. You got a lot of people in her family, but Sherman Hamilton is not in her family, just so you know. Most saying, no, they are not. They are not related. And yeah, she's saying what I just said. Kaloy saying, morning, Lex and Raptor Freak fam. Was out sick yesterday. I watched all of Andor season 1 and 2 and then rewatched Rogue One and New Hope. A great way to spend when you're sick. So you can really get all Star Wars like Carl Lane, man. You went in that Carl Lane foxhole. Woo! Went into that wormhole of Star Wars. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars and Kaloy's life for today. Yeah, that's what he was doing, man. He was like in there. Was Santino watching with you, man? So he's saying, did you like it? Yeah, I want to watch Andor. I know it's really good because I'm hearing so many good things. I will watch it at some point, guys. I'll let y'all know when I do. Maybe I'll get it done before the end of the summer. I'm gonna try. I'll try and do that. Maybe I'll get Adriana to watch it with me. I'll try and see if she will. Kaloy saying, hell yeah, I'm not into Star Wars at all, but Andor really got me interested in watching it. See, that's the thing. He went and watched Andor, and now he's going back and watching the original 1977 Star Wars movie, New Hope. Yeah, it's like in some ways, maybe I don't need this is a gateway drug to Star Wars is Andor. Monique is saying, even JYD praising SGA via CBC Sports. Yeah, there's a lot of people giving flowers to SGA for his MVP, and rightfully so. It's an accomplishment, and he's the second Canadian ever in the NBA's history to win the NBA MVP. And that's fantastic. He's awesome, man. Honestly, he really is, I'm telling you, the face of the league. He's coming. He's doing it right now. It's happening right before our eyes right now that SGA has taken that place at the top of the league, the place of LeBron. Seriously, LeBron's going to go off in the sunset. Who's going to be the next generation's face of the league? Right now, it's looking like Gilgeous-Alexander to me because he's consistently 30 points, and he's winning now. He starts winning titles. Look out. Then it'll be for sure. He'll ensconce it when he gets 2 titles. Watch. Let's see. Smooth saying Andor is adult Star Wars, not for children. Are there Ewoks in it? Because Ewoks will tell you right then, this is for children. So yeah, you know what it is? I get Andor confused with Endor. Those are not the same Star Wars moons. Andor was the one where the Ewoks fought the stormtroopers with the rebel forces, and they used the logs to hit people and slingshots, and they beat the stormtroopers, and they got the shields down on the Death Star, Han Solo. Now, I was like, okay, that's not the same place because it's Andor. It's not Endor. Endor is where the Ewok village is, man. That's where it is. But Andor is not Endor. So I keep thinking Andor is going to be about Ewoks, to be honest. I really do. But I don't think there's Ewoks in it. No, it's not for kids. There ain't no Ewoks in it. There's not for kids. You know those Ewoks were in there just for kids. It's like George Lucas is like, man, my franchise is doing so well. I'm selling so many toys. How can I get more kid friendly? Let's put a bunch of little funny teddy bears in it. Okay, yeah, Ewoks. Boom, Ewoks. I had the Ewok Village when I was a kid. The play set, it was awesome. It was Ewok Village. Yawa, chicha, yawa. I don't need chickadee tea. I take Ewok. Yabba, yabba, yabba. Oh, when they're like worshiping C-3PO. He's like, oh my, it seems that I am a god to them. Yeah, Shanahan is an asshole for that, man. Brendan Shanahan, you dried up old crusty piece of shit. GDFO, man, get the fuck out, bro. Thank you, Keith Pelly. You know, the aftermath of this is that all, and this is Leaf-centric minds thinking this. Oh no, everything is going upside down because of Ed Rogers and Keith Pelly and Maple Leaf Sports. Oh no, they fired our president. Ed's going to be all different now because Ed Rogers is in charge. Listen, once again, I'm going to say this. Leaf Nation, keep your bullshit, toxic bullshit away from Raptors Nation. Y'all's little car that y'all been riding in with Brendan Shanahan for 11 years ain't got nothing to do with the car we've been riding in with Masai Ujiri for 12 years. Don't you bring your worries and fears about Ed Rogers, MLSC, and Keith Pelly over to our side of things. People are already writing articles. Toronto sports may be deeply changing now that one man owns the 3 major sports teams. Ooh, oh, I'm so scared. Ooh, fear-mongering. Bullshit. You're bullshit artists. You newspaper hacks are writing about the changes in MLSC and why the Raptors should be scared. Oh, I'm so scared. They want to make money, and money is winning. And these guys are going to keep Masai there because he's winning. And in some ways, Masai has a track record, the resume to show that he is doing a good job, unlike Brendan Shanahan. So I always say that. Everybody who's saying 1 + 1 = 2, obviously Masai's in trouble now because Shanahan's in trouble and he's gone. That's not necessarily the case because the Raptors have success to point to. The Raptors have a very sound plan right now that is being executed very well and is showing a lot of promise. So Leaf Nation, don't bring your toxic shit in here worrying about MLSC, Ed Rogers, and Keith Pelly. I ain't worried about him. I've listened to Keith Pelly. Keith Pelly understands the difference between Leafs, Raptors, and 905. And in some ways, Monique talked about him herself. This dude is going to look out for the Raptors in some ways that maybe he won't look out for the Leafs. Because honestly, if we're talking about him coming in, he wants this place to run better. The president of MLSC, Keith Pelly. The Leafs need help, but the Raptors don't necessarily need help with running better. No, they don't. And that's why Leaf fans don't start saying 1 + 1 = 2 because this is happening to us. It's going to happen to you. Nope. We are a totally different entity than y'all in some ways. And some of y'all's toxicness and bullshit around Brendan Shanahan ain't got nothing to do with Masai Ujiri and the Toronto Raptors. So don't try and put apples to oranges, is what I'm going to say to Leaf fans that are trying to start this whole fear-mongering campaign, whether it's a journalist, whether it's people on TV, talking heads, whether it's YouTube channels, whether it's people writing articles, why the Leafs problems are problems the Raptors should be worried about. Just stop, because they're separated. And in some ways, Keith Pelly's not a dumbass. He's not going to do the same thing to all the same, because they're different entities and they are in different places and they're doing different things. Just because y'all have Leafs primarily on your mind, Leafs Nation, doesn't mean everything about you revolves around you and it happens to everybody else the same way. Raptors Nation, Raptors things are totally different than y'all. And I'm not worried about this. I'm not. Until I have a reason to worry about it, I will then. But I don't have any reason to worry about the change in ownership of Rogers primarily owning the Raptors and everything at this point. In some ways, Ed Rogers and Masai publicly said they have no issue with each other. And they're good at this point. So I don't see these issues. Just because y'all fired y'all's president yesterday don't mean nothing's happening with us. Now, I know Ujiri's contract is coming up soon. Well, then we'll have to see what happens then. We'll have to see what happens then as far as things with Keith Pelly, Ed Rogers III, MLSE. But right now, I'm not going to panic just because Leaf Nation's upside down because they fired their president yesterday. No, I'm not going to panic at all. Just because y'all have that energy around y'all, don't give it to us. We have nothing to do with y'all other than we are under the same company. But that doesn't mean that we're the same division or any other kind of thing. Nope. None of that. That's right. Nako saying, boo Shanahan. Yeah, fuck that guy. Man, fuck that guy. Wayne Stranger saying, wow, that picture story is crazy. Stargate and I officially take back anything conciliatory we said towards Leaf Nation. Fuck them all. Jamal Shed should be told to stay away from them. Nah, you know what? We can be bigger people about it. In some ways, that's part of it. The subjugated people are just plot on and they do the right thing, even though they don't stoop to their level. You know, that looks bad on them. That doesn't look bad on us. It doesn't take away any of our accomplishments. It doesn't take away our championship. It doesn't take away any of the great things about Raptors culture and our team and the things that we love. It just shows a pettiness and an insecurity of a man named Brendan Shanahan. That's all it shows right there. And whatever his reasoning for doing it, whether it's racist, whether it was hockey-centric, whether it was whatever bullshit justifying why he would do that, it just shows that the man was scared. The man was a coward. And the man is somebody that obviously doesn't have a job anymore with the Raptors right now. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying, I was shocked. I could not believe MLSC went along with it. Well, I'm not shocked by that because once again, in some ways, we know this. I know this from working for that company myself 25 years ago, that the Leafs are priority number one. And in some ways, Leafs have way more pull and more weight to throw around in that Scotiabank Arena than the Raptors do. And a lot of people in the city will say that's justified because the Leafs have been here forever and they're historically Toronto's most important sports team. I mean, I can't argue with that. Some of that is right, but I would love an egalitarian, equal world where both of them get treated the same. But that's never been the case, and that's never been totally true, and especially by the media. I mean, we had somebody freaking out on Twitter last night that Mo posted in the Facebook group in the chat that some writer was getting upset because TSN started TSN Sports Center last night talking about SGA winning the MVP instead of hockey playoff highlights. And they actually wrote in their tweet, what are we, the 51st state now? Because they're leading with NBA on TSN Sports Center. Instead of, we're in the NHL playoffs. They have the most important part of everything. And this is not Canadian if you're not starting Sports Center with hockey. I mean, this is the energy that's out there. This guy's accusing TSN of being too American because they led off with SGA winning the MVP. I mean, that's ridiculous. Seriously, that's ridiculous stuff right there. Seymour said, what happened with Shanahan? He got fired yesterday. That's right. The Leafs fired their president of 11 years, Brendan Shanahan from Detroit Red Wings. Yep, he's fired, and he was a piece of shit is what we're finding out afterwards. That's right. Cloy saying Pelly has a presser at 1 today. That's right. That's right. That's right. He's going to talk about it. He's going to come out there. Y'all going to hear Keith Pelly's voice today. You're going to be like, you know what? This guy does seem like a really smart, sensible guy. Seriously, he's not a bad person. I really don't think he is. And I'm going to keep putting out good vibes about Keith Pelly because I want him to be good to our team. And I want him to know that we respect him. And honestly, Keith, I think you're going to do a great job. And hell, if you fired Brendan Shanahan yesterday, you did it yourself. Thank you. That's what I say. Thank you, Keith, for firing Brandon. They ain't going to say fired. They're going to say they're not renewing his contract. It's all bullshit just to feed the ego of Brendan. Seriously. They're not going to say fired, but he got fired. He got fired. That's just how it is. No, we're not renewing his contract at the end of the month. That's what it is. Okay, whatever. He's fired. Okay. Oh, he has an interview with the Islanders? That's why this happened? Bullshit. They wanted to fire his ass because the fans were demanding it. Seymour saying, well, he is a Red Wings alumni, so him coming here stirring the pot is common sense. Why bring in the enemy? Who hired him? He needs to go. He's from Etobicoke. He's a Toronto kid. He grew up in Toronto. He's a Leaf fan from when he was a kid. So he had his heart in the right place, Shanahan. He really was diehard Leafs, even though he's a Red Wings legend. He's from the city. So in some ways, he was with Toronto Maple Leafs correctly, just so you know. Just so you know. It's not that he was an outsider and came in and he tried to screw up the Leafs. He was earnestly trying to get the Leafs somewhere. It's not like he did a good job. You got to figure he was there for 11 years. Most people around the Leafs don't get that long. They don't get that long, especially with their futility and what they've done over the last 60 years. So, I mean, you got to give him credit for that. And no, he wasn't in there trying to sabotage the team. It's just he didn't get nowhere. And in some ways, we've talked about this week. Why did the Leafs always fail? It's partly because of the press and the fans, honestly. It's partly because of the press and the fans. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying not allowing Raptors picks in the locker room, hall, or the press rooms. Wow. I know. I couldn't believe that. It's like, I mean, I get it in the Leafs locker room. You don't have to have Raptors pictures in there. If you have an office, Brendan Shanahan, you don't have to put any Raptors pictures in there. But these hallways that we all share, why the fuck can't we have some basketball pictures up? They ought to be all hockey pictures. Seriously, what is this? What is this? This is my freak out for today. That's what it is. That's right. That's what it is right there. That's right. I'm not surprised. Seymour says, I'm not surprised at this bullshit. That's right. So we're saying put pics of Kawhi's, hold that trophy, man. That's right. That's right. Put some Kawhi shot pictures up. Put some pictures up of Doug Christie and D Brown. Put some pictures up of Jamario Moon and Mike James. Come on now. Put some pictures up of Jean Tabak. Oh, man. Yeah. Let's see. Chris comes saying, love that passion, Lex. Screw Shanahan. There you go. This is part of the reason why some of y'all are following me, because y'all want to see Lex Friday freak out. Y'all want to see that passion. Y'all want to see me go off on some people that deserve it. Yeah. And, well, we had a good target today. We really did. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying, yeah, put up some pictures of Kyle and DeMar and Vince and all that kind of stuff. That's right. That is right. Boom goes the dynamite. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. Let's see. All right. I lost my place. I'm coming back. I seen somebody saying newsflash. Newsflash. Masai takes over the Leafs and they finally win the Stanley Cup. That's hilarious. You know, he probably would be able to do something. I mean, his expertise is not hockey. He could be the president. Maybe Keith Pelly does that. He's like, listen, guys, this is my announcement today at 1 p.m. I've let go of Brendan Shanahan. He's a piece of shit douchebag, and he's out. Sorry, guys, that we were here so long. And you know what? Because Masai Ujiri has been so exemplary in his job as the president of the Toronto Raptors, we've decided to make him president of the Toronto Maple Leafs also. He's going to run both teams. Of course, he's not in hockey operations, so he will have a GM doing all the moves and scouting and stuff, but he will be the figurehead over everybody to make sure that things are done right. So I'm proud to announce the new president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Masai Ujiri. Come on out here, Masai. Come on out. Oh, yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. We are going to win. We are going to win many, many championships. We are going to get the Stanley Cup up here in Canada again. I'm telling you. That's right. Could you see that? Wouldn't that be hilarious if that happened at 1 o'clock? Maybe Leaf fans will be like, yes! They'd be like, yes, Ujiri! Leaf fans might be like overjoyed to hear that noise. Seriously, they might be like, yes, we might get a chance now. Masai! Oh, man, that's fun. That's fun, man. Good stuff, man. Good improv right there. That's hilarious, Black. I'm gonna give you a dunk for inspiring that little scene that I just did right there. That was silly, man. You know what? Listen, I'm not trying to be, when I do impressions of people's voices, I'm not trying to be any kind of offensive. I'm actually honestly trying to channel their spirit and voice through me. And if I sound like them, it's because I'm trying to actually sound like them. And I do everybody. I am an equal opportunity mockingbird. And it's not that I'm mocking. It's just I'm a natural mimic. If I hear a voice or I hear a song, I can sing it the way they sing it, or I can do the voice. I can try to, at least to the best of my ability. So, yeah, I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to make fun of Masai. When I do an impression of Masai or anybody that's Raptors related, it's from the deepest part of my heart. And it's a tribute and respect, honestly. It's a tribute and respect. And I thought that was pretty funny what I just did there. Yeah, Seymour saying a lot of old Leaf fans would have a heart attack if Masai took over Leaf Nation. Maybe that would work. Get rid of the negative cancer fans from the old ways. You mean the racist fans? The racist fans would be like, no, the black man can't be the president of Maple Leafs. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm aghast. I'm aghast at that idea. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. No, don't put that in my head. Oh, no, Masai. No. If anybody stopped watching the Leafs just because they did that, well, you don't deserve to watch the Leafs anyway. If you're that racist, that's crazy, man. Trevor's saying Indiana will take down the Knicks tonight. Yeah, I like to hear that. Yeah, Pacers and Thunder is a much watch. Yeah, I'm all about that Canadian content. I'm telling you, man. Lots of Canadians in that matchup. Lots of Canadians. That's right. Maturin versus SGA, Canadian Championship Classic. That's right. That's right. I mean, our chances of having a Canadian champion in the NBA this year are very high. Very, very high. I think out of the 3 teams, we've got Canadians on 3 of the 4 teams. It's just New York doesn't have any Canadians. So maybe they got to go bye-bye. Sorry. OG's yelling at Cat. And, well, they may be on their way out. That's right. That's right. That's right. So we're saying most of the Leafs love basketball and the Raptors. So Shanahan's stuff is bad. So bad. You know, his reasoning is that he wanted to instill a winning attitude for the Leafs and that he didn't want the basketball stuff to distract them. Like, what is this? Like, only hockey stuff. This is a hockey arena. No basketball pictures. No, none. They better put them back up this weekend. I'm going to say this right now. MLSC, Keith Pelly. I hope somebody asked him this at the press conference today. Is somebody of the journalists, they're going to be at the press conference for Keith Pelly at 1 p.m. Because somebody asked him about the Raptors pictures and getting them put back up on the wall now that Shanahan's gone. Seriously. Ryan Wolstadt, you brought it up. Go ask him. Go ask him. Thank you, Ryan Wolstadt. Actually, I don't often give you kudos. To me, you're kind of an annoying reporter in Toronto. But you did good yesterday, man. Thank you, Ryan, for letting us know about this travesty that was going on underneath. This disrespect towards the NBA team that shares the building with the Leafs. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, I agree, Smooth. He is a Red Wings turd. Who let him in? Once again, he's from Etobicoke. He's a Toronto kid. He came back to hometown to fulfill a dream to be the president of the hockey team that he loved as a child. He may be a Red Wing champion, but he's a Maple Leafs fan from growing up as a kid in Toronto. So that's it. That's why Shanahan was here. That's right. Smith saying he was hired by Lewicki. He also hired Masai. Yeah. And that just shows the lasting impact of Tim Lewicki and how badass he was. He was such a good eye for talent. Both of the presidents that he hired stayed for over 10 years. And honestly, the fact that Shanahan got this far with the Leafs to this point is a huge accomplishment, honestly, considering the futility and the disheartening things that happen to the Leafs over and over again, the calling for heads, the toxicness of Leaf fan nation. The fact that he survived that 11 years in that position is actually kind of an accomplishment, honestly. But it's also a testament to Tim Lewicki's eye for talent, for leadership, and the long-lasting presidents that he chose. Because what is Tim Lewicki hasn't been around the team in so long, and his legacy with the MLSC it just lives on with TFC, OVO Center, and Masai Ujiri. It's just amazing. Just the impact Tim Lewicki had in the very short period that he worked with us. He was only here 6 months, guys. I think he worked in MLSC for like less than a year. And he had one of the hugest impacts on the company ever, man. Seriously, man. Yeah. Nako saying they're saying Ace is going to drop. You mean Ace Bailey? He's going to drop because they see that he's a skinny little guy and he may be overhyped. So that could mean that VJ jumps up to third. Something like that. I mean, will the Sixers just pick Ace Bailey and make another pick another bust? Yeah, I don't know. Sixers, you go ahead. You can get all these high draft picks. I have total faith you're going to screw up the third pick. I totally have faith in this. Seriously. And I think it might be a Rutgers guy that screws you up. Seriously. I think it might be, yeah. Kaloy saying, will Igor Demon be available at 9? That's very likely. I've scouted him very extensively again this week. I find that he's too overlapping with Scottie. There's certain things about his game and actions that he does that are kind of Scottie's world. And in some ways, as talented as a point guard at that size is for Igor, I don't want him. I would be okay if they drafted him, though. Like, it would be kind of like a thing like Grady Digg. It's like, oh, they are going to pick Igor down. All right, well, they must know something more about him than I know, and I'm going to trust Masai on why he picked him. He's very likely to be available at 9. Let's just put it that way, Igor. Yeah. Seymour saying he will be on the board at 9. Yeah, he agrees with me. Kaloy saying, I'm intrigued with him. I would love the Raptors to grab him. I just feel like in some ways he's duplicitous. If he was a 6'9" guy who could play down low and bang and like get more physical and get more rebounds, I'd be more okay with this. But he is very much a finesse 6'9" guy who plays from the outside and shoots a lot of threes. And he also likes to pass and have the ball in his hands. In some ways, there's too many guys that are kind of in that template for us right now. And I like the guys we have right now. I don't want a young rookie project taking over those duties. That's why I'm very, very centric on specific actions and duties and skills and things that we need that we lack, which is shot blocking, rebounding, and defensive presence as a big. And shot creation by a 6'9" guy is not something we need. It's not something we need. We got Scottie, and in some ways, that's why I would be like, yeah, this is a waste. This is like he's going to be kind of stepping on toes, not just with Scottie, but probably with Brandon and probably with RJ too. I would just say that that. Yes, Smooth saying Shanahan doesn't live in Toronto either. He lives in Manhattan. I'm surprised on all of this. Not that he was let go, but how much power he had over the Raptors. Yeah, it's not that he had power over the Raptors. He had power over the building. Let's just put it that way. He didn't have any power over our team, but he did have power over the Scotiabank Arena, apparently, because he could decree something stupid like this. There's all kinds of different dumb rules that different people have had. We know about Nick Nurse's rule about not being talked to after games. His office is closed. He's playing piano. He doesn't want anybody to talk to him after games. We know about certain rules, like Pat Quinn used to smoke cigars in his office, even though that whole entire building's non-smoking, and it was since they opened it. But there was Pat Quinn really wanted the right to smoke his cigars in his office, so he got that okayed for him. There's always kind of some weird little rules downstairs that the public is not privy to for the most part. So this kind of stuff happening behind the scenes. I don't think the Raptors even knew this. I think this news coming out, I'll bet you people like Scottie and Jamal would be like, oh, I didn't even notice this. I didn't care. I never noticed that there weren't any pictures of this. These guys don't give a shit about this. In some ways, we care about it more as fans and our culture and standing for our team and asking for respect and pride. But, I bet you Scottie Barnes had no idea that this shit was happening with Brandon Shanahan, and he doesn't really care. He's like, I don't care. There are pictures on the wall. I don't care. It's like, oh, I walk through these halls and I see a lot of Leaf stuff. I'm like, yeah, I just thought because they had so much history, that's why they had so many pictures up there. No, he told them not to put any pictures up of the basketball team. Scott, he was like, whoa, what was that? Fuck him. That's what probably happened. It's the same thing, but he probably didn't even care. This isn't like he heard us. It's just he's like I said, this tells more about Brendan Shanahan and his insecurities than anything else. That's all it does right there. Yeah. Trevor J said next season the Raptors going to be the shit. That's right. Disturbing for the rest of the NBA on defense and offense. We will be the team in the East. Everyone will be talking about. I love that, Trevor. I'm going to give you a dunk. I'll give you a dunk. I love your forecast, weatherman. So you go on and get in front of the green screen and keep telling me about the weather coming up in the next 10-day forecast. Come on now, Trevor. We're going to call Trevor the weatherman soon because he's telling me what's coming up in the weather, and I like it. I'm going to give him a dunk. He's at 93 now. 93 on the dunk charts for Trevor J, giving us that forecast. I like that, man. Nako saying Igor probably will be there at 9. I wouldn't draft him. You wouldn't draft him? Yeah, any reason, Gerald, why you wouldn't draft him? I'm wondering about that, man. Marks Tavares saying, didn't Butler call cats off? Yes, he did. And that's why it emanates from. It continues. The label sticks. This is the thing, man. You can shoot threes and be lazy and be a stretch center and shoot from the outside. Sometimes he would block shots, but really, was he doing any of that lifting in Minnesota? No, Gobert was doing it. He was doing all the inside paint, defensive stuff. Now, on the Knicks, is he a very good defensive center? No, Mitchell Robinson's a better defensive center than him. And in some ways, better defenders around him are people like OG and Josh Hart. But Cat is not a good defender. And that was exploited and exposed by Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers in Game 1. That's exactly it right there. Rick Carlisle's too smart. You can look at this and say, look, Anthony Towns is lagging on getting to that defensive assignment. We need to exploit that. Nesmith, you're on, bro. Get it to Nesmith and we'll exploit because Cat's guarding Nesmith and he's being lazy. He's not getting all the way to him. I'm telling you. Bodega Cat, soft, Jimmy Butler, the label, it's on him. And you know what? He proves it in some ways. I mean, listen, in international play for Dominican Republic, when Cat plays, he can be dominant in that atmosphere and get away with being lazy and slacking. But in the NBA, where it's an intense playoff atmosphere, where it's everything, claw, tooth and nail to get every inch, you can't be like this. You will not survive this ecosystem and you will not succeed. And that's what's happening here. Is, yeah, like Mark said, Jimmy called him out for being soft, and I think the label sticks. That's what I'm saying right here. James is saying we could use a player like Towns. Our offense would be scary good. Yeah, I still prefer Pirtle. And the only reason why is because of the opposite. In some ways, they're kind of opposite. Yeah, he doesn't shoot threes like Towns, but he damn for sure is going to get physical with people near the basket. And he's going to stop people from coming at the basket. And he's going to block shots. And he's going to rebound. And he damn for sure ain't soft. Yaka Pirtle. So, I mean, they're inverses of each other. Some fans will be like, oh, I love Cat. Cat shoots threes. He's a center. Those are casual young fans that do not understand bread and butter basketball. And it's important, more important to be like Yaka, Cat at the 5. Seriously. Some people say, oh, for sure, Cat is way better than Yaka Pirtle. It depends on what you care about. It depends on what you care about as a player. Seriously, I care about the center playing center things. And Cat, you can go ahead and play Robert Horry 2025, but in some ways, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Is that win? Robert Horry needed Tim Duncan, okay? Robert Horry needed Akeem Olajuwon, okay? He needed Shaq, okay? Oh, man. Nako saying Lou, J-Dub, Caruso, Wallace, even Chet has his defensive chops. Yeah, they're a very good defensive collection, and they have probably the best offensive player in the league, too. So, yeah, there's no doubt that Oklahoma City Thunder are a team that is their record. That's for sure, and what they're doing right now. That's right. Somebody's saying Anthony Edwards has too many off-the-court issues. All due respect to his other world talent, but he isn't a good human being. That's a fact. Wow. Reggie's just calling him out, saying he's not a very good human being. I don't want to make that judgment on him, but I know that he is not the face of this league just for the reasons you just said. Seriously. If you really want to market people like you marketed Michael Jordan or LeBron James, Adam Silver, you better get the right person. They ain't going to make you look bad. John Morant he's giving you all the good criteria for why he cannot be it. And Anthony Edwards, like I said, is sliding on that scale towards John Morant. And SGA is safe, man. SGA is not going to make you look bad. SGA is classy. SGA is well-spoken. SGA stands for the right things. He's a great role model. He's the kind of person you could put out there and you will not be worried about making the league look bad. I'm telling you right now. SGA is not going to have any kind of crazy scandal or anything like that. He's going to make the league look good, Adam Silver. So don't be afraid to go forward with Oklahoma City Thunder's best player as the face of the league. Seriously, don't be afraid of this. I'm telling you, Adam Silver, he's the right one. Like he's saying here, SGA, G's saying here, original Raptor Freak trivia champion. Shea is a family man that lives a very consistent, routine life. He says it's all about consistency for him. You can tell he's very loyal and focused. That's what Steve Nash was talking about the last day or so about why he's so successful, is that consistency is like the word of the day. If Masai's is winning, SGA's is consistency. That man does everything a certain way all the time, and that's why it is embedded in him, his supernatural skills that he does on the basketball court, because he takes that approach and applies it to him skill building over his whole entire basketball career. And the reason why Gilgeous-Alexander is who he is not an accident. It has to do with this consistency obsession that in some ways, you know, they give allegations to Scott, but there may be, I'm not saying allegations towards SGA in a bad way. I'm just saying that sometimes people that get hyper fixated and very, very focused on very specific things, they are the best at it because they really, really, really get hyper fixated on it. And I think that SGA has some of this action in him as far as how he handles his basketball career and his training and his daily routine and life. You know, in some ways, some people love structure. They love a certain system and pattern that they do every day, and they feel really good in it. And that's what we're talking about right here. And when you build consistency and you build habits like SGA has, that's why this dude is so good, is because he can be consistently good. No Gary Trent Jr. stuff here, because he's laid this stuff like this, and this is the way he lives his life. That word consistency is like winning to Masai Ujiri for SGA. That's it right there. Now, I'm going to say, weirdly, I think this team is structured similarly to the super teams, Golden State Warriors. IQ is like Steph. Scottie's like Draymond. Don't say that. BI is like Durant, and Grady is like Clay. I know Grady would be loving hearing that. You know, I can take the Durant and BI. I can take the Grady and Clay. IQ and Steph, maybe. But I hate that you just compared Scottie to Draymond. People have been doing this to Scottie since he came in the league. And Draymond himself has said this. Y'all keep comparing me to Scottie Barnes. He's way better than me. Draymond said it himself. Seriously. He's heard people compare him to Scottie. He's like, y'all, I don't understand why y'all are comparing me to Scottie all the time. He's way better than me. He admits it. He admits it. He knows that Scottie Barnes is a way better offensive player than him and a better all-around player. So stop sullying Scottie with handcuffing him to Draymond Green comparison, because that's not fair to Scott. That's ignoring a whole side of his game that Draymond does not have, that Scottie has. So, yeah, Draymond said himself, Sky's better than me. He said that, seriously. G saying, not sure if this was talked about, but before the Knicks lost the lead, OG and Cat were, I talked about that just a little bit ago. OG and Cat were arguing on the bench, and Brunson stepped in to tell Cat to stop. Yeah, I brought that up earlier. I'm glad you brought it up again. It's not like OG. I've never seen OG in that mode. Y'all watch that clip, and have you ever seen OG that expressive in that kind of way in a basketball court setting? Never, ever like that. Never in Toronto like that. Never, ever did that to a teammate in Toronto. Knicks fans that are watching me right now. If you're worried about OG getting mad at Cat, this is something I've never seen from him before, and you should be worried. You should be worried, seriously. Because they're going to probably poo-poo it and say, this is just the heat of the battle, and they're competitive spirits, and they just really want to win so bad. That's why they were arguing and getting the other say, okay, sure. Okay, that's why. Okay. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph. Friday blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. When you have done it in your way and has failed, it's time to do it God's way. Love. There you go. I like that. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that word of wisdom. Thank you, Randolph Phillips. Blessing the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Kaloy saying, I see OKC becoming a dynasty until the Raps dethrone. Once again, they may win it this year, but that don't mean they're going to win it next year. I'm telling you, this era is over. There's going to be different things that happen throughout the years, like whether it's an injury, whether it's just another team just gets really hot and they have a better year in some ways. I really do feel like repeat champions are done. But if there is a team that's going to repeat in the next couple of years, Thunder this year and Thunder next year could happen. I could see that. But I'm not totally sure, Kaloy. At this point, I feel like the Raptors killed Oracle and dynasties. They really did in 2019. That's right. OKC is so deep. Their sixth man is Caruso. Yeah, I've always thought of him as a bench player, though. I know he used to start on other teams, but he's always, in my mind, his player type and who he is, he should be on bench. He shouldn't be a starter. I think the teams that had him starting, that was because they were deficient in talent, and he should have always been just a bench player. So Smooth saying, yeah, the Battle of Endor is in the Return of Jedi. Yeah, Endor is not Andor. Lex, Andor is not Andor. Call Carl Lane. He can explain it. He knows. He read all the books. He'll tell you. Reggie saying also, Return of the Jedi is my second favorite Star Wars movie after Rogue One. It's still Empire Strikes Back for me. I really like that one. Number one. Return of the Jedi is probably number two. And I like Revenge of the Sith third, actually. Those are my three favorite Star Wars movies of all time, I think. Revenge of the Sith is actually my third favorite Star Wars movie. Yeah, I really like that movie for some reason. I liked how it tied up with Darth Vader and the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth and the lava. Man, that's a really interesting movie, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, that one. Let's see. Select Easy saying, learning that Darth Vader was originally Anakin made me like him even more. Yeah, it's a crazy story arc, man. Crazy story arc. And you think about Jake Lloyd playing baby Anakin in the first episode. Man, you know that guy, the actor who played Jake Lloyd who played Anakin, he's fallen on really crazy hard times since doing that movie. That movie was not good for him. He definitely had the child actor thing happen to him where he turned to drugs and went into a really bad life after being so famous so young. So little pod racer Anakin, the guy who played that, he's had a lot of trouble in his life since, in and out of rehabs and really not doing well in certain ways as a young adult. Just so y'all know about Jake Lloyd, the actor. Yeah, I've seen some pictures of him in recent times, and I'm like, man, that guy doesn't look good, man. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look like he's taking care of himself at all. Kaloy saying, Pelly should hire a new president that is forward-thinking or looking. They really need to win. They need to find the Messiah equivalent in hockey. I have no idea who that would be. In some ways, I don't care. This is the Leafs problem. In some ways, it's just what it is. And, well, we'll get some answers at 1 p.m. This is what it's looking like right now. Yeah. So we're saying, yeah, Return is a feel-good Star Wars movie. I really liked it. Yeah, Return of the Jedi is the end of the series because it's the big ending and everybody's standing with their medals and They destroy the Death Star. It's the big ending, the feel-good ending. It's the last episode of the 6. And that's part of why you get that feeling. They also did really good job of incorporating the marketing and the toys with that movie. They saw the gold with Kenner and Star Wars, and then Empire Strikes Back with the Hoth play set and the Wampa and the Tauntaun and the At Walkers and all the toys. And well, they really expanded it in Return of the Jedi. George Lucas was smart. He really got all kinds of crazy characters jammed into Return of the Jedi so that he could really flesh out that Kenner toy line. You think about all the weird characters at Jabba's place. You think about the Ewoks. There was different sections of that movie that was in some ways very catered towards marketing. Very, very much. Very, very much. Like DC's a fan of the Sith too, of Revenge of the Sith or of just the Sith. You like the Sith side of things? You're not on the Force side? A good game is Star Wars Battlefront. Any of those games in those series are pretty good. Like even the first one, it's not as good as the second one, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a lot of fun. If you can pick up a copy of it on PlayStation 2, it's worth running around and playing that game. Seriously, it's so much fun. It really is one of the best Star Wars games ever. Seriously, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Check it out. You can play as Darth Vader. You can play as Yoda, Chewbacca. Let's see. Kaloy saying, not someone who would shun their basketball department who generates more money than them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to run the Leafs. I don't care. In some ways, it's interesting because it sounds like they're going to keep Shanahan's hires on. Like, will they fire the GM and the coach too? Because right now, they're okay. They're not getting fired right now. In some ways, maybe the changes after Shanahan will be players for the Leafs and maybe not their coach and their GM. I could see somebody new coming in and firing them and bringing in their own new people. We'll have to see. We'll have to see because it could be that's just the first domino. The GM may be gone soon, Trevelling, and then also the coach may be on his way out also for the Leafs. I could see this. They might clean house, seriously, especially if the new person wants their people to be in those jobs. That's right. So we're saying I'm Team Rebellion. Even in the video games, I can't fly those Imperial ships, even though they're cool. Yeah, it's fun in Star Wars Battlefront because you have the space fights too, and you can pick different space. And it's fun to fly I would get the big carrier, the Empire one. I would fly the Empire one, the one where they bring all the stormtroopers. And on the space missions on Battlefront, you have to fly into the other side's like main vessel and get out and start storming into their building and try and knock out their shield generators and other controls and stuff. That's a lot of fun because it's got the aspect of you're taking off from your ship and your main ship in your little ship, and you're flying through the air and you're fighting people in the air, shooting them. And then you have to land in the other ship, get out and get your gun and start shooting everybody inside. Like you're like in Star Wars. It's awesome, man. That game is so much fun, man. I like to play as the Rebellion too, but it is kind of fun sometimes to play as Darth Vader because he has a force choke. Like he has a little special action. You can like choke guys from far away. Which is fun, man. Naga saying Star Wars Visions, 2D, it's Clone Wars, not Clown Wars. That's weird. Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Solo, and then ROS. I haven't watched half of that stuff, so I can't make a full ranking. But that's your ranking? Star Wars Visions, number 1. Okay, Gerald. Clone Wars, 2D Clone Wars? Interesting. Most say, hey, Lex, I give you permission to share my picture with Keith Pelly. I appreciate that, Mo. I appreciate that. I might do that on a stream someday. If we're going to have to talk about Keith Pelly, maybe we'll show, I'll use that as the cover picture for our stream that day if we have to talk about Keith Pelly for whatever reason. Maybe we'll have to talk about him today when he hires Masai Ujiri as the new president of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's right. Rise of Skywalker. Okay. Most giving my cutoff, WStream, WVibes. We're about 7 minutes away from 2 hours in. So, yeah, we probably will finish up very soon. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate you. You're a bedrock in the RFF community, and I appreciate you so much. Trevor's saying DeMar and LeBron were at the Kendrick Lamar concert. People started saying he's going to the Lakers. He should, and I want him to. I have no problem with this. LeBron, get out of the way and let DeMar DeRozan play for the Lakers. I need to see this. I want to see this. If Kyle Lowry got the dream of playing for the Sixers, DeMar DeRozan deserves to fulfill his dream of playing for the Lakers. So get out of the way, LeBron, and let this man come and play for his hometown team and his hometown dream. We love you, Grote. DeMar DeRozan. And I have no problem with this. In some ways, I might listen. This is good. You might get more people to root for you Lakers because DeMar DeRozan is a very likable, loved player for a long, long time in this league. He's a Hall of Famer. And in some ways, I might root for y'all a little bit if DeMar DeRozan is lining up in the purple and gold next year. Seriously. That's how much I love DeMar. I will actually cross lines and maybe become a little bit of a Laker fan if DeMar DeRozan's wearing your jersey. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Let's see. Nako saying, I like Igor's passing, but that's it. I can't see him being top of the board, off of the board at 9. Yeah, he'll be there still. He's there still. Impa saying, do you know him personally? How do you know he's not a good person? What the fuck? Plus, he doesn't want to be the face because to see how the face is treated by the media and fans. What are you talking about? Anthony Edwards? You got to give me proper nouns, Infamous, especially if you're like, what the fuck? Look, Anthony Edwards is himself. I accept him for who he is. But in some ways, if there's a role or a job, if he's going to be a figurehead of the whole entire organization, he shouldn't be doing that. Because in some ways, there is a certain level of professionalism in certain things that you need to keep, as much as the president is not professional in any kind of way in what he's doing of the United States. But in some ways, if you're going to be the face of the league, it's a very important role because in some ways, you're marketed around completely. And in some ways, that's one of the best things I love about LeBron is he never had no scandals. He never brought dishonor to the league in certain ways that could have been bad. Michael Jordan, same thing. I mean, sure, you could talk about Michael Jordan's gambling. Maybe you could talk about the mysterious death of his father. But for the most part, Michael Jordan was a positive role model and face of the league that brought tons and tons of revenue into the NBA. And that's what that role is for. In some ways, it's not us that Anthony Edwards needs to get attracted to the NBA. It's the non-NBA fans, the non-basketball fans. You need to be a draw to people that are not fans of the NBA already. And as somebody like Anthony Edwards run around and act the way he is not going to draw non-basketball fans to the league and let it grow. But somebody who's got a great personality, a young man who's got a very well-spoken and great role model, that may draw new fans to the sport and be like, and especially in Canada. Especially in Canada, if the MVP in the face of the league is a Canadian. So you're right. I don't know Anthony Edwards. I do know that he's homophobic. I do know that he has a lot of baby mamas. I do know that he's outspoken and he says what he wants, just like me. And I respect him for that. But there's a price you pay for being like us. The price is I won't ever be on Sportsnet. The price is I will never probably have a bona fide reporting job in the Toronto market. But I don't want that. I want the free speech to be able to say what the fuck I want to. And that's the difference. If Anthony Edwards wants the free speech to say whatever the fuck he wants to, he can't be the face of the league. Just like I can't be the face of Toronto Raptors sports media. Exactly. Because I'm not. I'm a fringe person, a fan, and somebody that wants to cuss. So I don't know. Infamous, I'm guessing you're talking about I don't really know Anthony Edwards. You're right. He's just a kid who grew up with he was an orphan in some ways, seriously. And in some ways, I commend him. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's an awesome person, but I don't think he's a good person for face of the league. That's what I say right there. And that's my whole point today. It's nothing else. It's that. And in some ways, look, he's also been kind of flaky in the playoffs this year. He's been good. He was good last night. But there's been a lot of games he's disappeared, not shown up for the Timberwolves when they needed him. And he's not going to come through for them against SGA. We know that. Michael Malone could say he's going to have a big game in game 2, and he did. But it didn't matter. They still lost. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying Neesmith, after chasing Brunson around, still had the energy and legs to make threes. Yeah, that's kind of impressive, honestly. Those Knicks are playing hard, but once again, their coach is the problem. He's going to run them to the ground before they get there. And Cat's too lazy to go chase down people. I'm telling you right now. Nako's saying talking play style, not quality of player. Who are you talking about? Once again, proper nouns, guys. We move so fast here. Smooth saying DeMar is spinning his wheels, man. Best fit for him? I have no clue. It's not about any of that at this point. Listen, yeah, going to Sacramento was a dead end for sure. In some ways, he just wanted to be back in California, and that's the team that was the easiest fit at that time. If he could have gone the Clippers or the Lakers or even the Warriors, he would have preferred that. But he went to the Kings, and he did want to be closer to his home, and that's part of the reason why he went to the Kings. Now, if he could get directly home in LA, that would be beneficial. It's not necessarily about winning a championship for DeMar. It isn't. It's about continuing his great, great career of scoring and consistency and finishing it with pride and his head held high. And in some ways, like I've said recently, you don't have to win a championship in the NBA to be a Hall of Famer. And that's what's going to happen with DeMar DeRozan. So he could ring chase. He could be desperate and demand that he has to go to one of the top teams, and that's it. But he's not like that, and he's never, ever been like that. In some ways, he didn't want to go the easy route. He wanted to go the natural route and the way he's gone in his career, and that's what's happened. In some ways, there's a lot of guys that ring chase. Maybe take a smaller contract just to be on a better team that has a better chance. I don't know what DeMar's going to do this summer. I don't know what's going to happen. I do hope he lands in LA, though, because I know personally that's where he wants to be. That's where he wants to be. That's right. That's right. Mark's saying DeMar's from Compton and is a friend of Kendrick's. Yeah. Yeah, that's why in this whole rap beef that came up in the last year or so, Drake, you're an idiot, man. You're an idiot. Just stop, Drake. Seriously, man. You're embarrassing us, man. Seriously, you embarrassed us this last year. And that's part of the reason why I don't care to ever hear you on the Raptors broadcast ever again. And I don't know if we will ever hear you because you went off mic and you started dissing DeMar, taking personal shots at him because of the Kendrick Lamar connection. And yeah, they grew up in Compton together. They've known each other way longer than DeMar's known Drake. And, you know, Drake and DeMar are close. And in some ways, Drake's saying, oh, I was there for DeMar when he got traded. And he stabs me in the back like this. Drake, get over yourself, bro. In some ways, I know half of this is manufactured just for publicity and this bullshit. But I'm telling you right now, Drake, you've made us look bad in this whole Kendrick thing. You really have. I'm not saying that Kendrick hasn't looked bad at times too, but in some ways, he's looked better. Let's just put it that way. And in some ways, you've looked really bad in this. In some ways, I don't know where Drake Brand is at this point. Because in some ways, a lot of Raptors Nation has abandoned him. I know I have. I want to like you, Drake. And I know you've done very, very good things for the Raptors organization over the years. You really did. Seriously. I don't poo-poo that. Your help with what we've done and building our culture and what our teams become is noted. But, man, at the point where you said if they put up the jersey of DeMar DeRozan and the Raptors, you go up there and tear it down on our live broadcast, man, that was when we went to opposite places in the fork in the road. And you are not with me anymore. And in some ways, the fact that you wouldn't see why you shouldn't have said that, the fact that you're not been back on the broadcast, they haven't asked you to come back on it, well, that says enough for me right there. Now, Drake, if you start making worthwhile music that actually had some sort of benefit to society, like maybe if you sang about world issues or maybe politics, or you try to do something like Kendrick does, I'd have more respect for you. But your music is fluff. Your music is garbage in some ways. It's catchy and it can be fun to listen to at times, but there's not a lot of substance to it, basically, is what I'm going to say. And if you really want to make a world difference, why don't you go talk to Chuck D, KRS-One, or some of these other guys from your predecessors and that made music that matters. In some ways, your music's catchy and it's fun. It sounds like music on an elevator. But you know what? It don't matter because it don't have anything that has no meaning, a message that matters. I'm telling you right now, fuckboy culture is not a meaningful thing. I'm telling you that right now. It's not. It's not. It's not right there. That's right. Let's see. Okay. Smooth saying, I like Andor and Star Wars Rebels, the two best Star Wars shows in my opinion. Okay. Cool. Wayne saying Raptors freaks forever. Yeah, I agree with that. Friends supporting Pacers, but I want a long series. So I'm cheering for Knicks tonight. Off to do some blood work. Healthy body, healthy mind. Later, freaks. I hope your blood work goes great, Wayne Strainer. Everything is perfect and happy and awesome. That's what I wish for you right there. So Smooth saying, what is he referring to? Infamous is referring to Igor or what? I don't even know what he's talking. I don't know what he was talking about. In some ways, like I said, I can get lost in the chat. You guys know that. Blackhawk saying Ant-Man's father is not in the picture. He lost his mother and grandmother, so his moral compass is off because these significant people are missing from his life. Yeah, I've heard this. In fact, there were certain players that really figured into his life when he was young and took him under his wing because they saw he was a basketball prodigy, and some of them became the father figures. No, I agree. I've heard that Anthony Edwards is an orphan, basically. And I mean, I give him a lot of I'm not mad at him. I'm not anti him. I'm just saying right here that Anthony Edwards should not be the face of the league. That's all I'm saying today. The SGA should. And in some ways, Anthony Edwards is not as good a candidate. I'm not dissing him. I think he's an amazing player. I think he's fantastic. And I like him. I'm just saying, if you're outspoken like we are, you pay a price. And that's part of it. In some ways, he won't get marketed like SGA will if he's going to keep dropping F-bombs in interviews. That's it right there. Yeah. Let's see. Smooth saying, no, I don't know Anthony Edwards, but I will say how he treats women isn't good. I'll leave it at that. Okay, that's where he was responding. And I was talking about Anthony Edwards. Yeah, this is true too. I'll play both sides. Infamous is right to a degree. It's like you really don't know him. He could be very, very caring and understanding towards the women and the children in his life, and that he's got it all arranged and everything's okay. There may be other people that are much more problematic. Let's just put it that way. So I'll play that side with Infamous, but it is very well documented that Anthony Edwards has got a lot going on with his family, with kids and stuff. And then that actually can kind of point to what we just talked about as far as his parental guidance throughout his life. I mean, I had a friend growing up in Tallahassee who had like 5 children by the age of 21. And partly it was because his father was never there in his life, his whole entire life. And his mother was a drug addict. And when he was a teenager, he had to go and build a tree fort in the woods and lived in it. Like when he was 15 as an orphan with no parental guidance in Tallahassee. And he went and got a job. And he went and worked, and he made enough money to buy a rent on a place. That's how he had to live his life. But he had no parental guidance, and he's just having sex with women all over the place. He had like 5 kids by his mid-20s. And I, as a friend of his, and I was younger than him, 2 years younger than him, had to teach him how to use a condom. I'm not lying. Seriously. Like, this is the kind of things that happen. Yes, my friend was African-American, and he's still a good friend of mine to this day. But this is the kind of thing that, like, knowing my friend in this situation with him, in some ways, this is stuff that, if you don't have that parental guidance when you're young, these kind of areas, you can be kind of like not totally responsible, is what I'm saying right here. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying right here. Yeah. Yeah. Most bringing up, she dropped this at 2:00. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can watch an hour-long interview with Alvin Williams and Mike Roach in time before the stream. I will watch it today, though. But yeah, I couldn't watch it, man. I couldn't watch it. You posted at 1:59 a.m., Monique, and I was asleep. And I got up just before this. So I do plan to watch this interview Mike Roach did with Alvin Williams. And I think it's probably really good. I'm excited about it. I want to see it. I wish I could see it. Mark Tavares is saying Drake was given a year suspension from the broadcast by the Raptors since that broadcast. So there's actually a real suspension that they've given him. Wow. I wonder how Mark knows that. That's interesting. That makes sense, though. They should have done it. I agree with it. Blackhawk saying, I'm not dissing Ant-Man either. He just has a lot of growing up to do instead of the U.S. media trying to dress him up as someone he isn't. I'll agree with Neil on that. And Smith saying, do you remember the story, Lex? Edwards didn't even care to know the name of his child, just the money amount and to send the mother. I don't agree with that. Yeah. That I do remember that he didn't care about the kid at all. He said, I'll give you $1 million. Just go away for the rest of your life. That's what he wanted to do. He said, I don't want to give you money forever. I'm going to give you a lump sum of $1 million. You spend it how you want now, but I'm not giving you child support after this. I think that's what he said. Now, once again, we're here to talk about the players and their play on the court, not necessarily their public life, their personal life. And especially since he's a Timberwolf, if he was a Raptor, I may go into this a little bit more deeper. But because he's a Timberwolf and I'm not a Timberwolf freak, I'm not trying to get all in the personal business of NBA players. And in some ways, I know that's kind of ESPN kind of stuff and online YouTube kind of fodder. But I really don't want to put on blast things like Scottie's baby mama and his child. I don't want to put on blast things like Anthony Edwards' baggage, because that's not what the purpose of this channel is. I know that he's probably done some pretty, things that are not totally right, especially if he's dissing his child. If he's doing a Karl Malone to his children, that's no good. That is no good. Yeah. But you know what? People make their decisions and they have to live with them. And down the road, he may be older and realize, man, I shouldn't have been such a knucklehead about my kids. I totally regret that at this point. I'm sure Karl Malone came to that epiphany at some point about Cheryl Ford and a couple other of his kids that he had that he did not have any part of raising or having anything to do with them. So, yeah, it's an interesting story. I'm not the end all be all. The man upstairs is the one who judges them. And if God will judge Anthony Edwards, not me. Not me. I can only see it from the outside. I don't know all the circumstances. And in some ways, like I said, I got to play this side with Infamous, is that like there's circumstances and things that going on with him that I will never know and I shouldn't know. So it's not for me to judge. That's what I'm saying. It's up to the Lord above, right? That's right. You're pretty sure about that suspension, Mark, huh? Pretty sure. Smith saying just because some of these women are scandalous themselves, they are still worthy of respect. I agree with that also. I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. It's all good, Reggie. I love you, man. Thank you so much for some of the information and things you brought to me in the last couple of days. You've been an MVP the last couple of days. And I'm going to give Reggie a dunk right now for bringing the information. He's getting up there. He's a leader right now, 136. How did that happen? He's at 136 on the dunk charts, Kareem. Look out. Mark Tavares is saying, yeah, you can Google it. Drake was banned for a year. Yeah. Well, okay, so we'll see him back in a year. Jack Armstrong will be ready for being cool again because Drake's sitting next to him talking to him. And the young people will be like, who's that old guy with Drake? It's like, I'm Jack Armstrong. It's like, oh, Jack Armstrong. Who's that? It's like, man, Drake brings some cred to Jack Armstrong. Blackhawk saying, when first taken, first call Ant-Man the face of the league and brush over SGA being the MVP, then Ant is fair game. I can agree with this on Neil too. That's the thing. NBA, y'all misstep with your faces of the league so many times. Zion Williamson, Ben Simmons, even Jason Tatum to a degree. Come on now. You can do better than that. I think SGA is the natural fit, and you need to go with it. Now, if Wemby comes up in the next couple of years in certain ways, maybe he's going to be sharing that spotlight with SGA as far as faces of the league. But you need to organically allow it to happen and stop trying to write the script of who you want it to be. There's a marketing group at the NBA headquarters, corporate office, who sits around and says, what about Luka, guys? No, Luka's lazy, and he's a foreigner. We can't have him be the face of the league. What about Giannis? Foreigner. Hello. What about Nikola? Foreigner. You can go through the list. So you're going to try and figure out Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards as American guys, trying to position them as the faces of the league. In some ways, Jason Tatum is just not popular across the league in some ways. In some ways, people, either you love him because you're a Celtics fan or you want to punch him in the face otherwise. So it's like, it's hard to make him a face of the league. Sometimes it's better to have it on a team that's not really that loved or hated, that, the face of the league should be on. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, there's not too much hate or love either way in huge amounts, like somebody like Boston, Celtics, and Jason Tatum. So in some ways, it's more palatable that SGA would be the face of the league because he could be more popular and likable, because more people would be like, yeah, I don't have any problem with the Thunder. They're just a small market team in the middle of the country. And, we don't even play them. They're in the Western Conference. We play them twice, something like that, something like that. Mark's saying, I hope not. Enjoying the broadcast when Drake isn't there. Yeah, me too. I don't want him to come back. We'll see if it happens. There's no guarantee. I wonder if Drake will come in and stronger. He'd be like the day the suspension's over. All right, I'm back, motherfuckers. You better put me on the air, Jack and Matt. You better put me on the air today. I'm back. My year's up. You better put me out there. Is he going to come back and John Halliburton comes back too? It's like they're both on a year suspension. It's like John Halliburton indefinitely suspended from Pacers games. Yeah, Drake is suspended from broadcast. Yep. Blackhawks saying, look at Stephen A. He is a prune face every time OKC wins. He hates it, huh? He can't brag about Ant-Man. You would swear Ant-Man is a Laker by the way they hype him up. There is a lot of want for this. In some ways, you got to look at also the Olympic team. And the old guard was involved in Paris last year, maybe for the last time. LeBron, Kevin, and Steph. And the young star that was being positioned among them wasn't Jason Tatum. It was Anthony Edwards. They've tried to, the last couple U.S. Basketball cycles, last couple things, the World Cup and then the Olympics last year, Ant-Man has been the premier American leader that's coming up in the U.S. Olympic team. And I think that's part of the energy. It's like that energy with that and with the broadcast. But like we said, he's not media savvy in the way that this should be happening. Seriously, this is not the right person. Blackhawks saying Stephen A is so constipated with the Pacer win that it's written all over his face. Hilarious. Hilarious. You can be overtly a New York Knicks fan in this level of what's going on. One of my favorite things this week has been watching Knicks fans reacting to the game 1 loss. There's all these clips. I mean, we had a really good one when we beat the Sixers, and that one clip of that family in Philadelphia, the father breaks the TV and the little kids are running out of the room crying. That shit is funny. You know that shit is funny. I mean, it's misery and sadness, but y'all know exactly the clip I'm talking about from when Kawhi hit the shot and Joel ran through the Raptors pictureless halls of the bottom of the Scotiabank Arena crying, and that Philadelphia family, like, man, that dad got so mad he broke the TV and the kids started running out of the room crying. That's a hilarious clip. There's a lot of clips like that this week with the Knicks fans because of the game, the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals, with the way the Pacers came back and went in overtime. They're hilarious. You can go find them, go search for them. You'll see Knicks fan reacts to game 1. And man, they get so angry. It's kind of really entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Y'all need to watch this. If you don't want a little bit of laughs, watch Knicks fan react to the game the other night. It's classic. It is classic. All right, let's do the classic cards. Speaking of classic, let's see what we get today, guys. We've had some interesting classic cards this week. I don't like these cards, but I'm gonna do this one real quick. Oh, great. Speaking of not good faces of the league, let's do this one real quick. I have to cover it 2 places because his name's in 2 places. It's so weird that they do this. But they put, how do I do this? How can I hold this card this way? It's like, I have to be like, they made this impossible, honestly. I have to hold it with both hands. All right. Classic card, name the player. I know you can't probably see him. I'm going to bring him in. Full name answer, please. Yeah, this is the guy we get on the conversation we just had. Yeah, if you know this guy's kind of related to our topic right now. Miles Bridges. Slug's got it. Thank you. I don't like holding the card. See how they have his name up top, and then they have his middle name, his last name on the side. Bridges. Really annoying card design by this group. But yeah, it's Miles Bridges. Speaking of, problematic players. Yeah, Miles Bridges, Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, and I'm gonna give 100 to Slug Easy for that. Good job, Slug. Slug's got a 3-day streak right now on the classic card. He's won it 3 times in a row. But this one will be 100 for this one. You got 50 for Laurie yesterday, but 100 on this one. Good job, Slug Easy. All right, let's see. I got more stuff to do still. I got more tabs. We did the refs. We talked about Shanahan. Oh, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods real quick, guys. This has been kind of I've been doing either really, really high-end places like Cactus Club yesterday, and I've also done coffee time this week. Well, before Tim Hortons was king of coffee in Canada, Country Style was king. That's right. Country Style is my straight goods for Canadian goods today. Country Style is a coffee place. There are 420 locations around. Oh, actually, there's 120 traditional locations, and there's 420 non-traditional locations in places like gas stations, convenience stores, arenas, and movie theaters. But Country Style has been around since 1963. It was started by Tony and Christine Wood out of Richmond Hill in Toronto. And yeah, they got a 420 locations. Hey, 420 of Country Style across the country. But yeah, Country Style had the most coffee shops for a while until Tim Hortons came around and kind of overtook them. But yeah, know that if you go to Country Style, guys, and get your coffee, you're supporting Canadian business, and it's a Canadian chain. So yeah, we're doing it Country Style today with Country Style coffee. There you go. There's your straight goods on Canadian goods. Country Style. Yeah, you know about Country Style. It's not that far off from coffee time. It's a lower end, but hey, I'd much more respect you if you went to Country Style than Starbucks right now. That's right. I respect you way more if you got your coffee there. That's right. Let's see. What else do we got going on here? Raptors Reddit reactions. This is what Chuck Swirsky said. And this is about the Shanahan thing. Every time I walk through the locker room and media area, I can't find one single Raptors picture. It breaks my heart. And I'm hoping that will change now. It must change. We should never, ever underappreciate the Raptors franchise and what it has done for basketball. There you go. Is that a good shot, Swirsky? It's kind of okay. I love that he said that. So he said that after what happened? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. He said that after they fired Brendan Shanahan. Wow. Wow. Supposedly Drake is reminiscent about the 2019 championship. So okay, he's still on suspension, but he's talking about the chip still. Chips and dip, man. Chips and dip. Here, Raptors Redditor saying, with Brendan Shanahan out, I wonder if the Raptors will now be allowed to put up pictures of their greatest players' championship run in the bowels of the arena now. That's not a good way to call the bow. Like, who wants to be down in the bowels of the arena? That sounds gross, man. That sounds like you're getting a colonoscopy. Anyway, Shanahan has been adamant only Maple Leaf photos could hang on the walls near dressing rooms, media area, and lounge per sources. Yeah, I'm glad Raptors Reddit is all over this. I want to hear what they're saying. Like, what are the fans saying? Are they out as outraged as I am on the Friday freakout? If this is true, I will start a petition to have this shot hanging. A picture of Fred holding his balls in the game. He did the big balls. That's what he's saying. I'm petitioning for a picture of Shanahan getting his teeth punched in. There you go. There you go. What? Really? This seems absurd, and yet somehow not. Some people are saying it seems super petty not to want any Raptors pictures on the walls. This is what Raptors Reddit is all over about this. That wasn't the building built for the Raptors first? Maybe that's the Mandela effect. No, it's true. It was originally built for the Raptors, and that is not the house that Shanahan built or the Leafs. So yeah, it's some bullshit, man. They've got the clip of OG yelling at Cat on Reddit, and they're talking about it. There's a new logo that somebody created, a fan. It's actually kind of cool. It's black and gold. And it says "We the North" with the CN Tower in Toronto and the Toronto logo. Not bad, man. Not bad, honestly. So yeah, there's a little bit of fear mongering about the ownership group of MLSE for the Raptors on here too. But yeah, Raptors Reddit reacting to Brendan Shanahan correctly and saying stuff. Let me see what they said on the Chuck comment. Like, let me see what they're saying there. We won a fucking championship. The Leafs need to step up to the Raps level. Yeah, there you go. What a fucking joke. People are saying, why does this feel kind of racist, is what somebody's saying here. Leafs probably brought in more money over the years. I think that's what the appreciation translates, but things change and basketball's got more popular. And now the Leafs don't deserve those pictures. This is what I'm saying. I don't even know if the Leafs brought in more money, honestly. You can't say that for sure. You can't say that for sure. You know, the Raptors are actually worth more than the Leafs at this point, honestly. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad they're okay, this is an idiot right here. He's saying, as an avid Raptors fan, I would disagree with the statement. The Leafs have provided countless more moments than this decade and past than the Raptors have. They just haven't been good moments. Okay, there was a kicker. All right, so Raptors Reddit's reacting pretty good right there. I like what they're doing there. All right, happy birthday to Razul Butler. It's Razul Butler, former Raptor player Razul Butler's birthday. He is he's 46 today. 46 years old. Happy 46th birthday, Razul Butler. That's right. There you go. Let's see what else we got. That's it. I think we'll do the rundown, get out of here just at about 2.5 hours. All right, y'all. I'm reacting today to the all-defensive teams being announced yesterday. Scottie Barnes didn't get no love, didn't even get a single vote. That's kind of some bullshit. I'm going to say that right now. Tamani Kamara is going to be on Team 2 from the Portland Trailblazers. Man, Scottie should have gotten some sort of consideration for his excellent steals and blocks and defensive presence that he's done this year. It's going to come. It's taken so long for OG to get any shine defensively. And well, he didn't get any this year again. It's kind of bullshit, man. So yeah, that is that is what I was talking about today. In some ways, I'm not worried about it. I'm not that upset. I feel like Shed not getting any shine for rookie was more casualty than the other. Yeah, casualty than the other, right? That's right. Okay, yeah, there actually you are pointed out Razul Butler is dead. He did die. You're right. He passed away in 2018, sadly. And I forget how he passed. Yeah, I guess he died at the age of 38 in LA. And let me just find out what happened to him real quick. He played for the Raptors from 2011 to 2012. And he got waived by us. But yeah, he didn't play for us for very long. But yeah, he died. He was in an accident, a high-speed car accident with his partner, who was a singer, Leah LaBelle, and they died instantly in a high-speed car accident in Studio City in LA. He lost control of his Range Rover on Ventura Boulevard and crashed violently into a strip mall parking lot. The autopsy reports showed traces of methamphetamine oxycodone and marijuana in Butler's body, and his blood alcohol content was up too. So he was all messed up, and he crashed and he died. And him and his girlfriend died, and she was a singer, apparently. Yeah, no, you're remembering it right. And I just went and fact checked it. That's sad. Well, happy birthday to the memory of Rasul Butler. That's sad, man. Man, I should have done that. I remember him passing now. And I guess I should have remembered that before. I just read the name off the spreadsheet. I probably should check that before. Also, Brendan Shanahan, you're fired. And man, wow, this is what I'm saying, man. I don't want to be right about conspiracy theories about the Leafs and the Raptors, but when you get this kind of stuff handed to you like this, it tells you exactly that it's the damn truth. And this stuff is real. That there is white racism towards the Raptors in some ways, and it may manifest in its hockey, and hockey's the sport for Canada and all this stuff, and that's why we're like this. That's bullshit, man. That is bullshit. Brendan Shanahan, good riddance is what I'll say. And I'm sure a lot of Leaf fans are with me on this. We'll have to see what Keith Pelly says at 1 p.m. when he announces Masai Ujiri as the new president of the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, tomorrow, guys, we're going to do the Share Love Club on Saturday, of course. And it's somebody's birthday tomorrow. So we're going to do a Share Love Club for a Raptors legend, a Raptors Hall of Famer tomorrow. Saturday, Share the Love Club. Come in at 9:30. You'll see who it is. All right. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and join the channel. If you join the channel, you get access to the Discord server and the Facebook group. So it's highly recommended if you really, really love the Raptors and you want to stay up to date on everything Raptors by the minute, by the hour. Well, this is the best way to get it all for sure. You won't miss anything if you're around us. RFF is on it. Monique Lawrence, Trevor Jones, thank you. Thank you for what y'all do. And everybody out there, Reggie, Stillman, everybody, Tristan. Hey, I appreciate you guys for bringing me the information. That's what I'm saying right there. And I bring the information I find too. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Happy Friday. Have a great day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, Saturday Share Love Club, 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Let's go, Raptors. Yeah, baby. Woo.